ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम्। All right, thank you and welcome everyone, and thank you to those who turned on the camera. And yeah, okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, right? I mean, having the camera on, it looks like I'm able to hear clearly, or there is a better connect. Anyways, I don't see many people today. I don't know why, or maybe whatever. So nonetheless, we'll get started. So okay, I see people joining. Okay, so any questions so far? Anything which is not clear? Anything that we should talk about before we move ahead from the previous verses? स्थित प्रज्ञ थोड़ा confusing सा topic है, maybe not, but at the same time there is a lot to learn in this section. Okay, now final call. If everything is clear, then we'll go to the next section, next verse. Okay, so let's go without much ado. Uh, we are part of this last section, I think, bit talking about this. So we'll quickly go to the this section and then we'll see beyond that. Okay, let me recite this verse. ध्यायतो विषया पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामा कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते. In fact, let me read the next verse also, and we'll discuss for both the verse together. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. Anybody who wants to recite? These are beautiful verses.
Should I recite 2.62?
Yes, Shailesh Prabhu saying that Google Meet is crashing for him. Did it is happening for anyone else also?
No.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गा सङ्गास्ते सु सङ्गा सङ्गा सञ्जायते कामा कामा क्रोधविजायते.
Yeah. The next one. Do you want to recite together? They make a good rhyme.
क्रो क्रो क्रोधाद् धावति सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रमस्त बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else who wants to try reciting?
Hare Krishna, can I recite these
Yes, yes. Please.
verses? ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसाः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गत् सञ्जायते कामत् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Okay. Anyone wants to try? They can. And these are beautiful verses for sure. Okay. Let me read the translation.
Prabhu, your screen is completely blank.
Is my screen visible to people?
We can see, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, we
Yeah,
can
it is visible.
It seems like there is some meat problem going on. Okay. I see. Yeah. I don't know. Should I reproject? Let me try to project again. Maybe if it helps.
Yeah, there is some Google Meet problem is going on.
Yeah. Okay. Wrong time to do a session. Maybe. Is it visible now?
Yes, loading.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Let me read the translation. Okay. So people say that Bhagavad Gita is more like 5,000 purani saal purani baat hai, or it's more about religious thing, right? And there is no practical thing to be gained out of it. In fact, even the previous verses and this verse also, it talks about practicality. Most of the, not most, I think all of the Bhagavad Gita is about practical things, by the way. But this is something that a lot of people struggle with. So it talks about even psychology of a human mind. So let's see what it talks about. So while contemplating the object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down into the material pool. Okay. So, ये जो verse है ना, what is being talked about? If you read Prabhupada ka purport now on the 62nd verse, he starts with this: one who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desires while contemplating the object of the senses. Okay. So what he is saying is कि जो Krishna conscious नहीं है, वो इन चक्रों में पड़ता है. So anyways, let's try to understand a bit. ठीक है. So होता क्या है ना, ये पूरा सेक्शन जो हम अभी सुन रहे हैं ना, ये स्थित प्रज्ञ वाला सेक्शन, it is all about a person in samadhi. Like, एक person जो स्थित प्रज्ञ है, person who's in samadhi, or a person who's Krishna conscious, how is he supposed to behave? How does he behave, right? How does he walk? How does he control his senses? How does he interact with people? How does he eat? And all sort of things, right? So point ये है कि it's all about like well round, completely वो person कैसे behave करता है, right? अभी इसके पहले थोड़ा चल रहा था जो सेक्शन, वहां पर हम वर्किंग सेंसेस की बात कर रहे थे, कर्मेंद्रिया, ज्ञानेंद्रिया, इस तरह की चीजों के बारे में बात हो रही थी. एनीबडी रिमेंबर्स एनी वर्स जहां पे हमने ऐसी कुछ बात की थी ग्रॉस सेंसेस के बारे में? ग्रॉस सेंसेस मींस हमारे हैंड, लेग्स, आईज, टेस्ट, टंग, इस तरह की कोई बात हुई है अभी तक? एनीबडी कैन मेक अ गेस? Okay. It just proves that it's like I was not able to communicate it well. Okay.
प्रभु जी सेंस कंट्रोल के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं क्या?
सॉरी माता जी.
सेंस कंट्रोल वाला
हाँ, तो मतलब ग्रॉस सेंसेस, मतलब हमारे जो ऊपर हाथ, पैर, आंख, टंग, इस तरह की जो चीजें हैं ना, इनके बारे में अभी तक बातें हो रही थी. इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, राइट?
Prabhuji, I don't know the number, but the Vishyavini Vartase.
Yeah. So that is a very very key verse. इनफैक्ट उसके पहले भी एक बात हुई थी, कुर्मा अंगानी सर्वशा, राइट, यू नो, एक कछुए की तरह अपने सेंसेस को पकड़ के रखो, राइट, उसको अंदर लेके जाओ, वेन एवर रिक्वायर्ड तभी उस सेंसेस को यूज करो, अदरवाइज फालतू के लिए यूज नहीं करो. सो दैट वाज अबाउट ग्रॉस सेंसेस, ओके, जिसको वर्किंग सेंसेस और कर्म इंद्रिया, ज्ञान इंद्रिया और बाकी इस तरह की जो चीजें हैं, दोज आर द थिंग्स बीइंग टॉक्ड अबाउट देयर, राइट. और विषय विनिवर्तते इज अ स्पेशल वर्स बिकॉज इट टॉक्स अबाउट इनफ्लक्स. इट सेज कि देखो हायर टेस्ट डेवलप करना बहुत जरूरी है. अनलेस यू हैव हायर टेस्ट ना, ये सब कुछ चलने नहीं वाला. Okay, we'll talk. I'll explain why that higher taste is very important. So anyways, so far हम gross senses के बारे में बात हो रही थी, और अभी इस वर्ष onwards, इस वर्ष पे और ये 62 and 63, इन दोनों वर्सेस पे एक स्पेसिफिक चीज के बारे में बात हो रही है, जो हमारी सटल सेंसेस है, राइट, जो हमारे मन, बुद्धि और अहंकार है ना, उनके बारे में बात हो रही है. ठीक है. एंड दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मतलब ये जानना जरूरी है कि हमें कैसे ये हैंडल करना है. वाई इज इट इंपॉर्टेंट? बिकॉज देखो, जब हम whenever we want to eat, right, so it doesn't take any effort to eat the food, but it takes an effort to stop. तो कुछ भी ग्रहण करने के लिए कोई ज्यादा ट्रेनिंग नहीं लगती है. छोटा सा बच्चा भी, उसे पता होता है कैसे खाना खाना है, क्या करना है, पर कितना खाना है और क्या नहीं खाना है, that requires a training, and that is the training being given here. That is what is being talked about. ये पूरे सेक्शन में उसके बारे में बात हो रही है कि कैसे आप अपने ग्रॉस सेंसेस और कैसे आप अपने सटल सेंसेस को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. बिकॉज हम बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो अपने आप को सेंसेस से ही आइडेंटिफाई करना शुरू कर देते हैं कि मैं तो खाने के लिए जीता हूँ, राइट. सो और सारे पाप की जड़ जो है ना, वो यहीं कहीं पर है. ये जो वर्सेस डिस्कस हो रही है ना, ऑल ऑफ एवरीथिंग, व्हाटएवर सॉर्ट ऑफ पाप हैपेंस, वो इनके अराउंड ही है. इनफैक्ट ये दो वर्सेस में जो बात हो रही है ना, सारा का सारा पाप इसके अंदर ही है. मतलब अर्जुन आगे पूछेंगे कि अतकेन प्रयोक्तेन पापम चरति पुरुषः, कि मतलब किस कारण से कोई मनुष्य पाप में फंसता है, क्या होता है, क्या रीजन है. ओके, एंड देन कृष्णा विल टेल दीज रीजंस ओनली, कि काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुण समुद्भव, कि मतलब काम और क्रोध जो है ना, वो ही दो रीजंस है. सो एनीवेज, बोथ आर बीइंग टॉक्ड अबाउट हियर. सो इट्स अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्स टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये सब क्या हो रहा है. ठीक है. सो okay, even before I go, I think if I think somebody asked last time, right, कि matpara के बारे में. So matpara, I forgot to tell that matpara is a very interesting word in Bhagavad Gita. ठीक है. मतलब as I explained कि matpara, that happened in the previous verse only, right, matpara. और matpara जो है ना, जब भी आता है भगवत गीता में ना ये वर्ड, you see that verse is very very beautiful. Amazing verses are there whenever the matpara word comes. And matpara can be translated to Krishna consciousness or somebody who's completely fixed in devotion. Okay, and those verses are very very amazing. I mean, some of the verses, if you see, like 12.6, 18.57, these some of the verses are like very very amazing, wherever the matpara comes. Anyways, yeah, if you want, we can read some of them. They are very beautiful verses. So and the bhakti is what Krishna points towards. And so previous verse जो हुई है, उसमें पहली बार भक्ति के बारे में थोड़ा सा टच आया था. Now anyways, जो अभी जो सेक्शन चल रहा है ना, 2.60 to 2.63, ये सेक्शन is about that what काव्यांश said, कि मतलब अगर हमें हायर टेस्ट नहीं होगा तो हम will fall down. Okay, this is what Krishna is trying to point in these 4 verses. If you don't have a higher taste, you are going to fall down. Okay, and it is very important to have a higher taste in spiritual life. अगर हायर टेस्ट नहीं डेवलप हुआ ना, जस्ट हम देखा देखी कर रहे हैं, ये भी करते हैं, हम भी करते हैं वगैरह, तो इवन 10-15 साल भी हो गए ना आपको भक्ति में, उसके बाद भी आप गिर जाओगे. उसके बाद भी आपको एक दिन रियलाइज होगा कि मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ ये सब, इन सब चीजों से कुछ नहीं हो रहा, मतलब कुछ किसी काम की नहीं है ये सब चीजें. एंड you'll stop doing that. Any time it can happen, I can tell you. मतलब your Maya is so strong ना, कि चैतन्य चरितामृत सेज कि जैसे ही आपने थोड़ा सा भी भोग वांछा किया, थोड़ा सा भी भोग की इच्छा की, वैसे ही माया पकड़ के लेके जाएगी. ठीक है, एक ही मूवमेंट लगेगा. और 10-15 साल, 20 साल, कितने भी साल लगा लो आप भक्ति में, सब पानी हो जाएगा, सब बह जाएगा. बड़े बड़े योगी बह गए, कितने सारे विश्वामित्र और कितने बड़े बड़े योगी बह गए. सो कोई नहीं बचता. सो इसलिए इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम हायर टेस्ट डेवलप करें. नाउ हाउ डू वी डू दैट? ऑफ कोर्स सिंपल है. हम अगर हम अपना सिद्धांत, साधना और सदाचार को स्ट्रांग रखेंगे, देन इवेंचुअली वी डेवलप इट, राइट. मतलब अपनी चैंटिंग जितनी बेटर कर सकते हैं करनी चाहिए, जितना अच्छा हम भगवान की ग्लोरी सुन सकते हैं उतनी सुननी चाहिए. बट वी हैव टू एंड वन डे दिस हायर टेस्ट विल कम इफ यू आर सिंसियर इनफ, देन वी विल रियली start relishing this. Anyways, deviation on that, but this section is about higher taste. ठीक है कि अब तो अभी तक शुरू में अगर आप इसके थोड़ा पहले जाएंगे तो भगवान बताते हैं कि जो लोग ना भगवान पे ध्यान करते हैं वो कैसे होते हैं. मतलब उसके बारे में बात हो रही थी. अभी इन 2 वर्सेस में भगवान क्या बता रहे हैं कि जो लोग मटीरियल चीजों पे ध्यान करते हैं, ठीक है, उनका क्या होता है. So if you are just meditating on something material instead of meditating on the God, then what happens? Okay, so this is what he is trying to explain. So let's try to look at it word by word. Any questions? Anything which didn't make sense, whatever I said? Okay, so let's go word. Yeah, sorry. Anybody had something to add?
आपने स्टार्टिंग में जो बताया था ना कि अटैचमेंट, वो जो सीरीज थी कि कैसे एंगर होता है अटैचमेंट से समथिंग, वो वाला एक बार फिर से रिपीट करेंगे क्या?
हाँ माता जी, ये इसका ट्रांसलेशन ही है, हम उसी पे रिपीट करते हैं. विल गो डीपर इनटू दैट वन बाय वन. ठीक है. सो सबसे पहली बात है ध्यायतो विषयापुंसा. ठीक है, उसी बारे में ही बात करने वाले हैं आगे कि इस वर्ष को वर्ड बाय वर्ड समझेंगे. तो ध्यायतो विषयापुंसा यानी कि विषय की चीजें विषय की चीजें कैसी होती हैं. विषय की चीजें, एनी एग्जांपल्स ऑफ विषय की चीजें कोई दे सकता है? विषयापुंसा मींस क्या? ऑब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ सेंसेस मतलब क्या?
Eating tasty food probably.
हाँ, टेस्टी फूड कुड बी देयर. मुझे कुछ वट एवर अ ब्यूटीफुल पर्सन विच आई डिजायर. यू मे डिजायर सम नाइस फोन्स, राइट. ऐसी कोई चीजें जो हमारे को सेंसेस को मजे देती है, राइट. उस तरह की चीजें. एनीथिंग इट कुड बी, एनी मटेरियल थिंग इन दैट मैटर, राइट. तो हम जब उस पे ध्यान लगाते हैं, ना कि भगवान पे ध्यान लगाते हैं. ठीक है. सो दैट इज द थिंग विच इज बीइंग टॉक्ड अबाउट, राइट. सो और ऐसा आदमी क्यों ध्यान लगाता है? आप मटेरियल चीजों पे ध्यान कब लगाओगे? जब आपको हायर टेस्ट नहीं होगा. अगर आपको हायर टेस्ट होगा तो आप भगवान पे ध्यान लगाओगे, राइट. और फिर जो होगा आपके साथ वो अलग है. दैट इज टोटली डिफरेंट थिंग, राइट. आगे 9th चैप्टर में और बड़ी सारी जगहों पे बड़ा कुछ डिस्कस होगा. व्हेन पीपल जो भगवान पे ध्यान लगाते हैं पूरी तरह, उनका क्या होता है, और जो नहीं लगाते हैं उनका क्या होता है, राइट. सो ऐसा आदमी ध्यान लगाता है जिसको हायर टेस्ट नहीं होता है. और अगर आपको हायर टेस्ट नहीं है ना, तो आप जैसे ही अपनी आंख बंद करोगे या अपनी आंख खोलोगे, फटाफट माइंड कुछ तो भी शुरू हो जाएगा, राइट. किसी तरह की बातें सोचता रहेगा. तो ध्याय तो विषयापुंसा मीन्स कि जैसे ही आपने ध्यान लगाया, राइट, और जैसे ही लगाओगे आप तरह तरह की बातें दिमाग में आएंगी कि अरे लोगों को मेरी सुननी चाहिए, मुझे ये चाहिए, मेरे हिसाब से होना चाहिए. इवन विषय वस्तु ऐसी भी होती है कि मेरे एंजॉयमेंट की चीज है, राइट. तो मुझे जो चाहिए वो चाहिए. आई वॉन्ट इट टू बी लाइक दिस, करेक्ट. That's how you want. So basically क्या होता है उसकी next step, what happens is that कि in fact one thing to understand, I think there is an English saying somewhere, I don't remember the complete saying, but कुछ ऐसा है कि जैसे हमारे जो thoughts होते हैं ना, they become words, because हम अगर किसी चीज के बारे में सोचते लगते हैं तो धीरे धीरे हम वो बोलने भी लगते हैं, राइट. और फिर words turn into action. And that's how the whole thing gets can get spoiled or made better, जैसे जैसे हमारे एक्शंस होते हैं. So इसलिए जब भी कुछ रोकना है ना, तो हमें उसे थॉट्स के लेवल पे रोकना जरूरी है. जब भी हमारे को कैसे थॉट्स आते हैं ना कि गलत या सही, तो हमें उसे थॉट्स के लेवल पे कंट्रोल करना बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है. अगर हमने उसे कंट्रोल नहीं किया तो फिर यस, दे विल इवेंचुअली टर्न इनटू एक्शंस. एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज आल्सो पॉइंटेड आउट इन दिस वर्स, राइट. कि जब ध्याय तो विषयापुंसा होता है. सॉरी, गो अहेड.
प्रभु जी, कैन आई आस्क समथिंग?
हाँ प्लीज.
आप जैसे बोल रहे हैं कि कुछ मटेरियल थिंग्स के लिए हमको डिज़ायर नहीं करना चाहिए. तो जैसे अभी आजकल के टाइम में अगर हम फ़ोन के लिए या लैपटॉप के लिए, जैसे पढ़ाई के लिए लैपटॉप चाहिए या
हाँ.
फ़ोन हमको लेटेस्ट चाहिए जैसे बच्चों की पढ़ाई के लिए, तो क्या वो डिज़ायर करना भी गलत है?
नहीं, मैंने ये नहीं कहा माता जी कि हमें जंगल में जाके रहना है. राइट. ऑल आई एम सेइंग इज दैट कि हम क्यों डिजायर, हमारा क्या पर्पस क्या है, द पर्पस शुड बी क्लियर टू अस, राइट. अभी होता क्या है ना कि हमारी डिजायर्स जनरली, क्योंकि आईफोन 11 आया है तो हमें वो चाहिए, आईफोन 12 आया है तो वो भी चाहिए, टाइप की चीजें होती हैं, राइट. सो इज दैट द राइट thing to desire? And just think of it more, not only about phone and or laptop, it is also about कि मेरे बच्चे मेरे हिसाब से बिहेव करने चाहिए, ओके okay. मेरा स्पाउस मेरे हिसाब से बिहेव करना चाहिए, राइट. मेरे मतलब वट एवर इट इज, राइट. अगर मुझे घर की लाइट ऑफ चाहिए तो ऑन कैसे रहेगी, अगर मुझे पड़ोसी आवाज कैसे कर रहे हैं मेरे, राइट. सो ये सारी चीजें जो है, when and we start thinking we want it our way, right. Be it whatever, not just the objects but also the situations and the people, we want it our way. तो ये जो डिजायर है ना हमारे हिसाब से होना चाहिए, दैट इज द रूट ऑफ इविल. दिस इज व्हाट इज बीइंग सेड हियर. जो हमारे अपने हिसाब से करने की बात है ना, कि हमने एक ध्यान लगाना शुरू किया. सो डोंट टेक इट अदरवाइज. इफ यू वांट इट फॉर, यस, बच्चों की पढ़ाई के लिए लेटेस्ट लैपटॉप चाहिए उनको, ठीक है, दैट्स फाइन, राइट. यू विल गो परचेस इट, आई मीन इट्स ओके, बट द पर्पस इज क्लियर, but you're not contemplating on it. So I'm not saying कि renounce here, right. That is not the purpose. That is a yogi way of solving problem. हम वैसे solve नहीं करते. हम लैपटॉप अच्छा खरीदते हैं और उस पे बैठ के लेक्चर सुनते हैं, right. So we utilize it in Krishna's service, there is no problem, whatever it is. So anyways, so ध्यायतो विषया पुंसा means जैसे ही हमने कंटेम्पलेट करना शुरू किया कोई भी चीज के बारे में, संगस तेषु उपजायते, यानी कि होता क्या है ना कि दिस इज द स्टेज जबकि हम बेसिकली उसको एक तरह से अपने आप को रिलेट करने लगते हैं उस चीज के साथ, कि नहीं मुझे ये ऐसा होना चाहिए, राइट. वी स्टार्ट रिलेटिंग विथ इट अलॉट, राइट. इस एक तरह से संग हो जाता है उस चीज के साथ हमारा, ठीक है. और संगात संजायते काम, यू नो. सो उससे क्या होता है ना कि काम पैदा होता है. काम का लस्ट is the word. Lust does not mean only one type of meaning, but lust also mean ki it is about ki I want it my way, right. I really want it, I have to have it. That is what is described as lust here. जो काम है ना उसका मतलब कुछ ऐसा है कि I have to have it. Once you get into that now, so then there are two possibilities only, right. कि मुझे ये चाहिए ही चाहिए, या तो आपको मिलेगी या फिर नहीं मिलेगी. Now, if you don't get it, then what happens is there is something called as anger which comes in, right. काम क्रोधो बीजायते, यानी कि उसके जब आपकी लस्ट सेटिस्फाई नहीं होती, जब आपकी डिजायर सेटिस्फाई नहीं होती है तो आपको एंगर आता है. सो इसलिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. नाउ इफ यू थिंक अबाउट दिस फॉर्मूला, तो इट स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम कंटेम्पलेशन, राइट. हमने जो सोच रहे हैं हम, इसलिए अपनी थॉट्स को प्योर रखना बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है, राइट. सम पीपल से काफी आपको ऐसे लोग मिलेंगे जो बोलते हैं संभोग से समाधि या कुछ ऐसी चीजें, राइट. कि मतलब अरे खूब सारा एंजॉय करो, और बहुत सारा जब आप एंजॉय कर लोगे ना तो आपका पेट भर जाएगा और उसके बाद आपको डिजायर खत्म हो जाएगी. बट नहीं नहीं, भागवतम सेज कि ऐसा नहीं होता. इट इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक प्लेइंग विथ फायर, राइट. फायर में जितना भी फ्यूल डाल दो, फायर बढ़ने ही वाली है, फायर कभी कम नहीं होगी, राइट. नो मैटर हाउ मच यू गिव इट. सो एंड इफ यू डोंट गेट इट यू विल गेट एंग्री. एंड उसके आगे क्या होता है फिर, उसके बाद भी बहुत कुछ होता है, राइट. सो इट सेज कि क्रोधात भवति सम्मोह, यानी क्रोध जो आता है ना, तो क्रोध, any questions so far? I hope it is clear, right. It's a simple math, simple formula. So क्रोधात भवति सम्मोह. Yeah, go ahead if there is any. So सम्मोह means what, कि मतलब हमें ना सही और गलत समझ आना बंद हो जाता है, ठीक है. हमें ऐसी सिचुएशन हो जाती है जब हमें ये नहीं पता होता कि ये करना सही है या वो करना सही है, क्या मुझे किसी को चिल्लाना चाहिए या क्या ये लॉ है, नहीं है. सम्मोहात विस्मृति स्मृति विभ्रम, यानी कि आपका जो सोच है ना वो बड़ी you get confused, like, you know, you're not even sure about the things, what is the thing to be done, right. That is the situation you get into. And स्मृति भ्रमशात बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात प्रणश्यति. उसके बाद क्या होता है कि आप अकल पूरी तेल लेने चली जाती है. द ओनली थिंग यू नो इज कि बस मुझे चाहिए, कैसे भी चाहिए, एंड आई विल डू एनीथिंग फॉर इट. अगर किसी को मारना है, परेशान करना है, देन ऑल्सो आई विल डू इट, बट मुझे जो चाहिए वो मुझे मिलना ही चाहिए, राइट. एंड देन यू फॉल डाउन. इट सेज कि जब उसके बाद जो आप करते हो ना, एंड दैट कॉजेज यू टू फॉल डाउन, राइट. बुद्धि नाशात प्रणश्यति, यानी बियॉन्ड दैट पॉइंट यू जस्ट फॉल डाउन, राइट. बिकॉज आगे भगवान बताते हैं भगवत गीता में कि बेसिकली एज आई सेड कि जो काम, क्रोध जो चीजें हैं ना, दीज आर लाइक नर्क के द्वार है. मतलब दे आर द थिंग्स दे एक्चुअली टेक यू टू हेल्प फॉर श्योर, गारंटीड थिंग. नाउ हाउ इट ऑल हैपेंड स्टार्टेड, क्योंकि हमने मटीरियल चीजों पे कंटेम्पलेशन शुरू किया. So as soon as you get into that, you get into trouble, right? And material means everything around you. It means people, it means situations, and any kind of desires you have, right? Any questions so far?
So Prabhuji, most of the people who are not in Krishna consciousness, or they are not aware, and people are working for kind of roti kapda or makan, and then they are trying to achieve that, and for to achieve that they are kind of struggling, and then trying to achieve that, okay ghar to hona hi chahiye, what not and all, and then they are kind of whole life struggling for that and get one house. So that things comes also in the same category.
It depends, bro. This is more about कि जब आई वॉन्ट इट माई वे, राइट. अगर आप मान लो, ये भी हो सकता है, इट डिपेंड्स दैट पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन, इट डिपेंड्स कि अगर आप घर चाहिए, आप घर के लिए मेहनत कर रहे हो, लेकिन यू आर नॉट ओवर एंडेवरिंग फॉर इट, राइट. यू आर नॉट हंग अप ऑन दैट कि ठीक है, मतलब मैं हर महीने वट एवर 2,000 रुपए बचाऊंगा, 20 साल बाद मेरे पास इतने हो जाएंगे, तो मैं एक छोटा सा घर बनाऊंगा, वट एवर इट मीन्स, राइट. एंड यू आर जस्ट डूइंग इट लाइक दैट. इट कुड बी लाइक दैट ऑल्सो. बट एट द सेम टाइम ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि नहीं, मुझे ये चाहिए ही चाहिए घर, और अगर ये घर नहीं मिला तो मैं इसके लिए चोरी भी करनी पड़ेगी तो करूंगा, किसी को बुरा करना होगा तो करूंगा, बट मुझे ये पैसे चाहिए. It could be of any sort of nature, but the bigger problem, the point I'm trying to make, just think of it as situations also. हम लोगों के आसपास जो होती है ना, एक तो मटेरियल डिजायर्स होती हैं, उससे भी ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम होती है जो हमारे को सिचुएशंस अपने कंट्रोल में चाहिए होती है, राइट. क्योंकि हम जब सोचना शुरू करते हैं ना कि ये मेरे हिसाब से होना चाहिए, एंड दैट इज लाइक द रूट ऑफ इविल. मतलब यू गेट इनटू एंगर बिकॉज ऑफ दैट. एंड आई स्पेसिफिकली वांटेड टू फोकस ऑन एंगर टुडे, बट हम किसी भी इसके एस्पेक्ट पे बात कर सकते हैं कि काम भी एक्चुअली उसी से ही शुरू होता है, राइट. क्योंकि काम भी जो है वो बिना और किसी कारण से होता नहीं है. इट ओनली हैपेंस बिकॉज ऑफ वी कंटेम्पलेटिंग ऑन ऑब्जेक्ट्स एंड बीइंग एबल टू रिलेट टू देम कि मुझे ये वाला चाहिए या वट एवर, राइट. आई मीन लोग अपनी पूरी लाइफ बर्बाद कर देते हैं, नॉट जस्ट एंगर, बट दे ऑल्सो एनीवे स्पॉइल देयर लाइफ, राइट. अभी उसी लड़के से शादी होनी चाहिए, उसी लड़के से शादी होनी चाहिए, उसके वट एवर, राइट. थिंग्स लाइक दैट, थिंक अबाउट इट. या फिर बहुत सारी चीजें जिसमें लोग फंस जाते हैं. तो इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट कि व्हाट, अगेन टू रिपीट इज कि आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि मटेरियल डिजायर्स आर आर material desires are bad for sure, but why are we doing it? It matters. मतलब material things are not bad is what I'm saying. मतलब घर बनाना, कार लेना, पैसे इकट्ठे करने, ये सब बुरे भी हो सकते हैं और ये अच्छे भी हो सकते हैं, राइट. अगर इनका पर्पस क्या है वो क्लियर होना चाहिए. If we want to do the right thing with them, then there is no problem. That's all, right. So it does not mean renouncing the world. It does not mean that. But having a clear purpose, having a higher taste, having a clear purpose about it, right. Does it make sense or it confuses?
Yeah. So let's take an example that, just for example, young generation, somebody set a very higher goal that, okay, he's very in the early career state, and then next year he wanted to travel to Europe, that okay पूरा यूरोप घूमने आना है, और उसके लिए पूरा दिन और रात लगा हुआ है कि मुझे तो जाना है, और उसके लिए मुझे भी चाहिए, what not, and I want salary hike and all, and he's like, day and night working 18 hours, what not and all. Do you think that this scenario comes in the this thing?
Yes, it comes into this. See, that's what I said. See, so let me keep aside the half part that I said about the purpose, because it's not related to this discussion. So अभी जो बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत कर रहा है 18 hours because उसको यूरोप में जाके ट्रिप करना है and things like that, right? So he is able to just, अभी उसके दिमाग में क्या कर रहा है, he's ध्यायतो विषयापुंसः, मतलब वो सोच रहा है और सोचते सोचते उसके लिए that is the lust, right? I want to have that, correct? And then he's working hard, whatever that is the side product. बट अभी इसके दो ही इफेक्ट होंगे, या तो आपको वो मिलेगा या फिर आपको वो नहीं मिलेगा ना। अगर नहीं मिला तो क्या होगा, यू विल फील फ्रस्ट्रेटेड अबाउट द होल थिंग, राइट? I mean, you'll not be happy. You'll do whatever, all sort of things. People do variety of wrong things. I mean, जब failure होती है ना, I do not want to even discuss that. I've heard stories where people, लोग जाके रोज कहीं पर जल चढ़ाते थे और उसी मंदिर में जाके उस डीटी को तोड़ दिया उन्होंने, because he couldn't pass the exam, right? Because they were not, उनके लिए सच गलत सब कुछ, शास्त्र क्या है और लॉ क्या है, सब कुछ खराब हो जाता है जब आप एक एंगर और डिल्यूजन वाले स्टेज में चले जाते हो। So all of that happens because हम बहुत ज्यादा अपने आप को उस सिचुएशन से रिलेट करने लगते हैं कि हमारे हिसाब से ही सब कुछ होना चाहिए। It could be anything, right? I mean, think of an example. Even शास्त्र से हम examples देखेंगे ना, तो there are so many examples where people just spoiled their life. For example, Daksh Prajapati, right? Daksh Prajapati was an amazing person. अगर आप भागवतम में देखोगे ना, तो दक्ष प्रजापति को विष्णु ही came, gave him दर्शन, और उन्होंने दक्ष प्रजापति को बोला था कि लाइक यू अचीव द परफेक्शन, मतलब यू नो ही वाज सच अ पर्सन। हम दक्ष प्रजापति को जब नाम सुनते हैं तो इतना रिस्पेक्टफुली नहीं सोचते हैं, बिकॉज व्हाट वी नो ऑफ इज कि अरे ही वाज द फादर ऑफ सती देवी, एंड उन्होंने उनके कारण ही शी हैड टू लीव हर बॉडी एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, राइट? बट ही वाज अमेजिंग डिवोटी बाय द वे, लाइक यू नो उनको बहुत बहुत ही ज्यादा ब्लेसिंग्स मिली हुई थी भगवान से। नाउ व्हाट वेंट रॉन्ग इज दैट इट शुड बी माय वे, आई मीन लाइक यू नो the my whatever, right, son-in-law should behave the way I want, right? अभी इतना जो डिजायर था वो इतना अंधा कर दिया कि उनको समझ में नहीं आया कि सामने कौन है, मतलब son-in-law, right? He's not a small time person. आप उनको ऐसे कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते हो. He has his own free will and like amazing personality, right? So that caused his fall down, right? That being stuck to it. I don't know if you know that story of Ajamil, right? Ajamil was a very pious Brahmana. I mean, like, you know, from Karnikubja, a great Brahmana, learned person, married, all sort of things he had, right? काफी पढ़े लिखे इंसान थे Ajamil. But what went wrong was he saw that prostitute, okay, and just by seeing her, he got this desire, right? And he started contemplating. He went home, he came back home, and he started contemplating on that prostitute. और वो contemplation इतना strong हो गया कि it went into lust कि नहीं I have to have it, right? And that caused the fall down for him, completely fall down, right? I mean, अपने हिसाब से चाहिए था, अपनी वाइफ को भगा दिया, अपने पेरेंट्स को भगा दिया घर से, right? और उस prostitute को घर पे लेके आ गए, okay? So he just tried to, and all this happened, right? स्मृति भ्रम और सम्मोह सब कुछ हो गया उनको सही और गलत में समझ में आना बंद हो गया, and then he got into this trouble, right? He was luckily saved, but chances were low. But anyways, so the point is ki if we start contemplating or we start meditating on sense objects rather than हमारे को जो काम करना चाहिए, because rather than meditating on the higher truth, then we get into trouble. That is the bottom line. I mean, इतने लोग हैं, हम लोग आसपास आप देखेंगे कितने लोग स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, right? People are struggling and they are frustrated about life. They don't realize कि what is this frustration coming from, and this frustration is coming because this material world is supposed to frustrate us. I mean, it is not supposed to give us happiness, right? This happiness is not outside. I mean, this is the mistake that a material person does. But a person who's in spirituality, he knows that the happiness is inside us, right? जो भी खुशी है वो हमारे अंदर है और हमें वहीं से ही मिलने वाली है, हमें बाहर कहीं कुछ नहीं है, right? Okay. So any thoughts, any further examples I should give?
One, sorry, Prabhuji, go.
Go ahead. Okay.
One common example which I have seen more frequently is around in office itself. Lot of people getting frustrated and hung up upon promotions, right? Every year, people want promotion instead of focusing on the growth. Like they are so frustrated upon the promotion itself as a result that if not happening, then that whole behavior, that whole anger, everything changes. So
yeah, you're right. Exactly. That's what the point is the same, right? I mean, see, whenever it has to happen, it will happen, but but do you need to actually contemplate so much about it कि आपको वो चाहिए ही चाहिए, and then yes you get frustrated. In fact I have seen people जो the things that they, I mean just talking about promotion, the things they could have done to get the promotion, even they don't do that. मतलब for example I have seen a person who was like कि मुझे इस चीज के बारे में ज्यादा सीखना इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि मुझे आप प्रमोशन नहीं दोगे तो मैं बाहर जाना चाहता हूँ, और बाहर जाऊंगा तो फिर मुझे ये सब सीख के फायदा नहीं होगा, ओके मुझे कुछ नया सीखना होगा, इससे अच्छा है कि मैं क्यों सीखूं ये सब, राइट. आई मीन बट द पॉइंट दे डोंट रियलाइज, करेगा आप अगर अच्छे से करोगे अपना काम तो देन प्रॉब्ली यू विल गेट प्रमोशन. एंड दिस इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड दिस सम्मोह, right? They don't know what is right and what is wrong. They just hung up on their thought process, okay.
Yeah.
And that this is the root cause, and let me explain. I mean I'll explain more in further slides, but the bottom line is ki the this contemplation on the material object is the root cause of all of this, right? You know, the काम क्रोध, all of this. So we have to keep our thoughts very pure. मतलब हमें क्या सोचना है और क्या नहीं सोचने लायक चीज है उससे बहुत ज्यादा संभाल के करना चाहिए. And this is only possible, by the way, I mean it is not possible artificial, it is only possible when we have the higher taste, when we are more focused on our internal development than about this external thing. ठीक है. Okay. Yeah. So in fact, what else should I tell about this verse? हाँ. So
तो प्रभु जैसे अगर बाई चांस एक तो हुआ जैसे कि आपने बोला कि किसी चीज को डिजायर किया हमने, अब वो डिजायर अच्छी भी हो सकती है बुरी भी हो सकती है, मे बी इन द लाइन ऑफ भक्ति हो सकती है, मे बी इन द लाइन ऑफ पर्सनल सक्सेस हो सकती है, ठीक है. अभी जैसे मुझे लगता है कि जैसे अभी आज मैं आपसे एक टॉपिक डिस्कस कर रहा था बिफोर दिस कॉल कि मुझे लगा कि ये मेरा हक है और मुझे इसको लेना ही है, तो मैंने अपनी पूरी एनर्जी उसमें लगा दी सुबह शाम दिन रात, बिकॉज मुझे लगता था कि दिस इज समथिंग माय थिंग एंड विच इज राइट एंड आई शुड फाइट फॉर दैट. तो वो भी एक लस्ट में ही आएगा प्रभु.
हाँ, आपका अभी तक लस्ट के स्टेज पे नहीं पहुंचा है. आप ये सोचो कि ऑन द अदर पार्टी यू थिंक अबाउट इट, राइट? सो यू हैव अ नेबर, राइट? आई मीन जस्ट द स्टोरी इज लाइक दिस. Rajiv Prabhu has I think half of the people know maybe so basically, and she is so hung up on her way, right? कि मतलब मेरे हिसाब से ही सब कुछ होना चाहिए, अगर आवाज नहीं चाहिए मुझे तो नहीं होनी चाहिए, ऊपर से आवाज कैसे आ रही है, राइट? क्यों ये लोग पैदल चल रहे हैं ऊपर, and things like that, right? 6 a.m. in the morning she calls him, anytime she calls him, and all sort of things, right? And she called police also, and things like that, right? Now why all of this? Because मेरे हिसाब से सब कुछ होना चाहिए, और वो जब नहीं होता है then all of this bad things happen at the same time. Now you cannot control everything, right? I mean Rajiv Prabhu is a good person, so maybe he'll listen, but some people may not listen to her also. It's a very, very frustrating situation, I can tell you. Very, very frustrating situation. I have faced such people in the past, and like we all actually get into that. I mean, we all do that some point or the other. I mean, we don't realize कि हमें ये frustration क्यों आ रहा है, ये गुस्सा क्यों आ रहा है, पर ये mostly तभी होता है जब हम अपने हिसाब से मुझे ये वाला situation अच्छा लगता है तो मुझे ये वाला situation चाहिए, right? मुझे ये इस लड़की से शादी करनी है तो मुझे ये लड़की चाहिए, या things like that. Just think about it, right? Anything it could be, okay? And when it doesn't happen our way, then we get frustrated. So this is the root cause of most of the evils, by the way. I mean, and it starts from false ego. Of course, the core of it is false ego, but it manifests like our desires. And how to control them? अगर हम अपना thought process pure रख सकते हैं, then a lot can be achieved here. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Prabhuji, I want to add something here for the Rajiv Prabhuji, because as I am his neighbor. I mean, like my flat is in front of his. So I had the person who is disturbing him. So I have heard many voices from her place too. So अगर हम लोग अपने पे उतर आए ना, वो तो राजीव प्रभु जी is so calm and quiet, and his family, they are so like they are hearing nonsense from that lady. So अगर मैं उनको यही एक बार I told अनुजिता कि हम लोग अपने पे उतर आए तो हम उनकी भी आवाजें जो आती है उसको भी हम लोग वो बोल सकते हैं अगर, but वही है कि we are not like that, we are not like the same person as they are, so we are just keeping it quiet. अदरवाइज अब नेक्स्ट टाइम कभी होगा तो राजीव प्रभु जी विल गो एंड टेल देम कि आप क्या करते हो.
This is that is the difference actually. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, like, people basically, होता क्या है ना कि हम लोग, there are two type of different people in different mode. I mean, when Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita कि ये सब है क्या, मतलब किस लिए पाप करते हैं हम लोग, ठीक है. When Arjuna asks this question, so Krishna says काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुण समुद्भव, कि ये जो है ना, ये रजोगुण से पैदा होते हैं ये सब काम और क्रोध, ठीक है. All this contemplation happens when you are not in the right mode. It happens when you don't have the higher taste. Okay, a person who is in a different mode may not feel this thing also, by the way. I mean, like, अगर आप सत्वगुण में है ना, तो आपको ये चीजें फर्क ही नहीं करेंगी. You will not at all get angry. And there are so many examples of devotees. Okay, people like Sant Tukaram and so many other devotees, they never got angry on variety of things. So Sant Tukaram के भी एक neighbor थे जो उनके घर पे कुछ कचरा फेंक देते थे, कभी कुछ करते थे. Okay, and that kept on happening for years and years. Okay, for years, multiple years. And Sant Tukaram was not at all bothered. I mean, his wife used to tell him क्या चल रहा है. Okay, but he was not at all bothered about this. Okay, he was only bothered about his bhakti. So it depends. I mean, there are different type of people, and you cannot say ki these people are wrong or that people is right. We cannot even say that. People are different. I mean, everybody is designed differently that way. And most of the time it hurts us actually. I mean, this anger really hurts us. I mean, I think Buddha said once ki matlab, a person being angry is like, keeping a poison in your heart and expecting the other person to die. Okay, so this is what the situation of anger is. कि मतलब अल्टीमेटली आप अपने हार्ट में जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दैट पर्सन, राइट, जो राजीव प्रभु के आसपास रहते हैं और उनको परेशान करते हैं ऑलमोस्ट हर रोज, राइट. जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दैट लाइफ ऑफ दैट पर्सन. शी इज ऑलवेज मे बी थिंकिंग अभी आवाज आएगी, क्यों आवाज आई, ये लोग बहुत परेशान करते हैं, एंड सो मच ऑफ इट, राइट. एंड क्योंकि वो आवाज आ रही है इसलिए शी गेट्स सो फ्रस्ट्रेटेड कि अल्टीमेटली शी डज ऑल द रिमेनिंग पार्ट ऑफ द वर्स, राइट. So she is in a more miserable condition than Rajiv Prabhu, I would say. Okay, this is unfortunate, but she will not realize and admit it. That's the point I'm trying to make. So क्रोध जो है वो हमें ज्यादा हर्ट करता है as compared to the other side of the person. That we should understand. In fact, just I'll take a side track before I talk more about क्रोध. In fact, यहाँ पर एक वर्ड है संग, राइट. सो संग का एक और मतलब भी होता है, राइट. संग का मतलब it's a deviation from the theme. So sang means to associate, ठीक है. It also means to associate. यहाँ पर it is talked about कि संग is like, जब हम किसी चीज का विषय का ध्यान करते हैं तो उससे हम associate करने लगते हैं. But there is one more thing. I mean, we associate with people also, and the kind of people we associate it with, we become like that, right. अगर हमने किसी गलत person से associate किया ना, then we get into trouble. And in Shastra, Sang of course comes as association a lot. Like for example, this verse, which is like this: Utsaha nishaya dhairya tat karma pravartanat sang tyagat sato vritti shadbhir bhaktir prasidhati. So this is from Updeshamrit, Nectar of Instruction, or basically it talks about something else. I mean, will not talk too much in detail, but basically what it says कि अगर आपको सक्सेस चाहिए डिवोशन में तो आपको ये 6 चीजें करनी चाहिए. This is what he says. Okay, and what one of the thing he says is called Sanga Tyagat. And what it means is that कि you have to basically abandon the association of non-devotees. This is what Prabhupada translates it as. कि मतलब जो material माइंडसेट है ना, उन लोगों से, उन थॉट से, उन लोगों से डिसोसिएट करने की जरूरत है. उनके साथ एसोसिएट करने से आपकी भक्ति बढ़ने नहीं वाली है, उल्टा घटने वाली है. क्योंकि आपको ऐसे लोग मिलेंगे, जब आप मटेरियल माइंडसेट वाले ऐसे लोग मिलेंगे जो नेबर्स एनवी ओनर्स प्राइड, राइट. आपने देखा होगा ओनिडा का एड. सो जो बेसिकली प्राइड और एनवी और इस तरह की चीजों के बारे में ही सोचेंगे. उसके पास ज्यादा पैसे हैं, मेरे पास एक बड़ी कार है, मैंने ये साड़ी खरीदी है, एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, राइट. एंड देन यू गेट द सेम थिंग, यू गेट इनटू द प्रीवियस वर्सेस. व्हाट हैपेंस इज देन यू गेट इनटू दोस डिजायर्स अगेन कि अरे मुझके पास इतनी अच्छी साड़ी है, मेरे पास भी सेम साड़ी होनी चाहिए. and then it becomes like lust, and then anger on your spouse or maybe somebody else if you don't get that same sari, right? So a lot of it is also about whom do we associate with, what persons we associate with, what thoughts we associate with, right? So it's very very important कि हम अपना इस लेवल पे प्योर रखें, एंड इसीलिए कृष्णा सेज कि रजोगुण से बनता है ये. सो रजोगुण में ये सारी चीजें लाइक यू नो आई हैव टू हैव इट टाइप की फीलिंग बहुत स्ट्रांग होती है. सो वी हैव टू गेट बियॉन्ड दैट रजोगुण, ठीक है, एंड दैट the all of this can subside beyond that point.
प्रभु जी, इसी में मेरे को एक ये चीज पूछना था, जैसे कि इसी उसमें कि प्रभु जी ने और मैंने हम ये डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि सपोज करो उन्होंने हमें स्टॉप कर दिया कि अब हम वो डांस नहीं कर सकते, तो हमें ऐसा लग रहा था कि हमें ये नहीं मालूम कि ये राइट है या रॉन्ग है, तो हमें ये पता करना चाहिए. तो ये जो थॉट है जो हमारे दिमाग में आई कि हमें पता होना चाहिए कि वो हमें स्टॉप करके गए वो राइट था या रॉन्ग, तो ये भी इसी तरह के अटैचमेंट या गलत डिजायर में आएगी?
नहीं माता जी, आई थिंक सी अगर हमें कोई वो करता है ना, हमारे सर्कल में कोई इंट्रूड करता है और हमारे बेसिक फ्रीडम पे कोई इंट्रूड करता है, देन वी हैव टू ऑब्जेक्ट. देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन डूइंग दैट. सो बट द सिंपल थिंग रिमेन्स द सेम कि मतलब यू नो हमें अपने हिसाब से ही चीजें करनी है. जैसे ही ये थॉट्स हमारे अंदर आ जाती है ना कि मेरे हिसाब से ही सब कुछ होना चाहिए, ओके, मुझे वो थॉट्स आपको जनरली इस रॉन्ग जोन में लेके जाता है. दैट इज द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक, नथिंग एल्स.
तरह से सोचना कि हमें पता होना चाहिए कि उन्होंने जो किया वो राइट था या रॉन्ग, मतलब ये गलत नहीं है.
हाँ हाँ, मतलब आप बिल्कुल ही आपको राइट है कि मतलब यू नो आप अपने घर पे हो, वट एवर इज देयर. आई मीन आई थिंक वी हैव टू डिफेंड अवर सेल्फ इन दैट वे if we are not doing anything wrong. So I'm not saying कि मतलब you know if you are at that level, it's a matter of level, right? Then probably आपको it will not matter to you. But think about, I mean I am trying to talk about an anger जो कि हमें खुद को परेशान करके रखता है, right?
Yes.
We are struggling because of that ourselves. Now what about that anger and how to get out of it? As long as we are hung up on our way of doing things, we will always struggle. Okay, like that person is struggling in your case, right? Because she wants it her way. She's not ready to listen to logic, right? So as long as that happens, and there are so many examples around us, right? हम खुद ऐसे बहुत सारी चीजों से struggle करते हैं. I don't think I need to give example for it, right? But think about whenever you get angry, why does it happen to you? Is it not because of something you want it your way, right? So anyways, yeah, and hopefully this sangat explanation makes sense, right? कि मतलब it's also about the persons we associate with. क्योंकि हम जैसे लोगों से एसोसिएट करते हैं ना, फिर हमारा मटेरियल कंटेम्पलेशन बहुत जल्दी बढ़ जाता है. ओके, एंड रूप गोस्वामी सेज कि मतलब यू नो ये जो पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक है ना, ये बहुत ही बुरी तरह से भक्ति को इफेक्ट करता है. यू विल फॉल डाउन वेरी वेरी इजीली. यस मेघा माता जी, यू हैव अ क्वेश्चन?
Yes, Prabhuji. So like at the initial stages, like when in the family not everyone is devotee, so it's very difficult to not have association of non-devotees, and even at workplace there will be non-devotees. So how do we handle?
Yeah, so actually नहीं, there is nothing to handle basically. So इसमें एक और वर्स है, इसकी अगली वर्स जो है ना उपदेशामृत की, which says ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमाख्याति पृच्छति भुन्ते भोजयते चैव क्षणविधा प्रीति लक्षणम. So it says कि 6 चीजें हैं जो कि एक्चुअली एसोसिएशन को डिफाइन करती है, ठीक है? और वो क्या है? ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति, यानी कि हमने कुछ दिया, गिफ्ट दिया और गिफ्ट लिया. इट्स अ कॉमन सेंस थिंग, राइट? अभी आप किसी को गिफ्ट दोगे और गिफ्ट लोगे तो देयर विल बी प्रीति, राइट? देयर विल बी लव व्हिच विल डेवलप बिटवीन यू, राइट? गुह्यम आख्याति पृच्छति, जो सीक्रेट बातें हैं वो आपने पूछा और बताया. ओके, एक डिवोटी क्या बात करता है? गुह्यम आख्याति पृच्छति, ही विल टॉक अबाउट the level of soul and the scriptures and things, but in general in the material sense also we are talking about something very secret, right? अपने दिल की बात खोल के रख दी, right? अपना दिल खोल दिया सामने वाले के सामने और उसकी भी सुनी दिल की बातें, राइट? और भुनते भोजयते, भुनते मतलब कि उनको कभी उनके घर खाने पे गए और उनको कभी उनके साथ बैठ के खाना खाया, उनको घर पे खाने पे बुलाया। तो रूप गोस्वामी सेज कि ये 6 चीजें जो है ना, ये डिवोटीज के बीच में प्रीति का लक्षण होता है, एसोसिएशन ऐसे होती है, राइट? एंड द सिमिलर थिंग इज एप्लीकेबल फॉर द मटेरियल पर्सन ऑल्सो, ठीक है? सो इट डिपेंड्स, आई मीन जस्ट a hard reality because I went into this territory is that कि associate करना और लोगों के साथ रहना दो अलग चीजें हैं, ठीक है? जैसे हम जॉब करते हैं, ठीक है, वी डू अवर वर्क इन अ प्रोफेशनल वे एंड वी पार्ट अवर वेज, राइट? दैट्स इट। हम ज्यादा किसी के घर पे तो नहीं घुसते हैं कि आपके घर पे क्या चल रहा है, ऐसा वैसा। हम अपना काम करते हैं और घर आ जाते हैं। बट व्हेन यू एसोसिएट विद समवन, जब आप अपने हार्ट को खोलते हो किसी के सामने ना और उनके हार्ट की बातें सुनते हो, देन यू स्टार्ट गेटिंग इफेक्टेड बाय सच पीपल, राइट? what it is all about, like they have this and I don't have this and things like that. So हमें ये बहुत बहुत केयरफुल रहना चाहिए कि हम किसके सामने अपना हार्ट खोल रहे हैं, ठीक है? That is very very important. I mean, doing it with a material person will adversely affect us. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
So the situation when your life partner, like you have to discuss, and if he is not a devotee, then what?
Yes, तो Mataji कैसे होता है ना कि there is something called as risky handshake. Okay, I'm just being blunt and straight, ठीक है? So risky handshake टेक्निकली क्या मतलब होता है कि आपको पता है कि आप इसके साथ हाथ मिला रहे हो क्योंकि मिलाना है, राइट? आपके पास ऑप्शन नहीं है, बट इट हैज बोथ द साइड्स व्हिच कैन हैपन, राइट? अभी हम कभी कभी, अभी ऑब्वियसली हमारे बच्चे छोटे हैं, सपोज किसी और, देयर आर सो नॉट डिवोटीज ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, राइट? देयर किड्स विल गो आउट, दे विल प्ले विद देम.
And one more thing, Prabhuji, is that like I'm opening myself basically. So like I got into this Krishna consciousness after getting married. So before that, there was nothing of this sort. So of course, for the life partner to digest and to understand and absorb, that will take some time, and I cannot expect that. So.
माता जी कैसे होता है ना कि देखिए, so that is a separate topic, like you know. तो एक लाइफ पार्टनर जो होता है ना, आई विल टेल यू वन थिंग, लाइक हमारा ग्रोथ जो है ना, वो बहुत, हमारे भक्ति इज नॉट समथिंग जो हम अकेले परफॉर्म कर सके. इट इज नॉट समथिंग लाइक दैट. जैसे योगीज और ज्ञानी जैसी चीज नहीं है. भक्ति कैन ओनली बी परफॉर्म इन एसोसिएशन, एंड हु एल्स कैन बी अ बेटर एसोसिएट, better person to associate with than our life partner, right? So it's a very very recommended thing that they also come into bhakti. Now how I think is like, you know, we have to be patient. The best course of action is not to preach them, for sure. Okay, never ever try to do that. It will only backfire. Not to preach them.
Okay.
Okay, that अरे देखो, see, you are a soul, you have to understand this, ये वो जो भी वगैरह वगैरह, it is only going to backfire, I promise. Okay, nobody I know was ever successful in doing this. Okay, everybody failed. So essentially, the best course of action, there are two things which can be done. I mean, Matajis have like actually a big role to play in devotion, and that is with prasad. I think I've told this earlier also. Like, you know, the food that we cook, we should offer it to God, and then only let people have it. Okay. If people still eat onion, garlic, things like that, we cannot offer them. Then at least try to make sure that some sweets or something every day we offer, and then let people have it. This has magical effect on people. I know for sure. I'm like fully convinced about it, like from my heart. This can transform people. Like जैसे होता है ना, मेडिसिन, भले वो होम्योपैथिक मेडिसिन है जिसके अंदर कुछ मेडिसिन है ही नहीं, बट इट इफेक्ट्स, राइट? दिस इज लाइक दैट. लाइक यू विल नॉट रियलाइज कि मैंने तो कुछ डाला नहीं था, बट कुछ तो हो गया. So that magic happens. Krishna does that. And the second thing that we can do is, if they are positive, then connect them to somebody of the same sex, like, you know, Mataji to Mataji or Prabhuji to Prabhuji, and have them have some kind of connection with them. And this association, as we are discussing, right, that association has a lot of positive impact. Okay.
And one more question, Prabhuji, like you're mentioning about the source of anger when we want it our way.
Yeah.
So like if it is not our way, if it is something which is prescribed by your guru or by like the sadhana which we're doing, and which we follow, like we don't want to deviate from that, and if someone questions that and wants to disturb that, how do we handle it?
You mean there is a higher truth, there higher something we are following, somebody, if I understood it correctly, is it about like somebody actually insults our guru or something like that?
Not just insult. Let's say you have a schedule. You get up early and you do something, like you do chanting or you do Rudra Seva or whatever it is. So if someone wants you to do something else instead of that, but like you as a devotee, you are always adjusting to the circumstances, and it's not like as you were rightly saying, that we should not get agitated if our way is not getting accepted. But this is something totally different. This is how do we handle this situation?
Yeah, Mataji, actually, it's better not to get hung up on even this kind of things. Okay, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो इस पे भी hung up हो जाते हैं. In general, like कि there are ways to handle situations. I mean, and understand that Krishna has a bigger plan about the whole thing. क्योंकि कई बार इन चीजों का ना negative effect भी होता है. In the sense that अगर हमने बहुत ज्यादा hung up हो जाते हैं ना कि नहीं हमारे हिसाब से ही होना है, मुझे तो इसी तरह से डिवोशनल सर्विस प्रैक्टिस करनी है और इस बीच में कुछ नहीं करना है मुझे, राइट? आई मीन डोंट बॉदर मी ऑन दिस थिंग्स or whatever, right? Then it can have adverse effect. The first effect is, of course, they will get on the wrong side of things, right? They will not like what you are doing. The second thing is, of course, I mean, it will hamper your progress itself, right? हमें ultimately हमारा aim ये तो है नहीं कि हम किसी को दिखाना is not aim. See, Krishna sees our intention. We have to be clear about it. He doesn't sees our how many whatever has been done. He just sees our intention, and that's what the Guru sees also. Like Prabhupada, if he wanted, he could have said कि यार chant 256 rounds whole day, right? But what he said is कि ठीक है, you at least chant 16 round, I guarantee I'll take you back. So the purpose, the reason for saying that was mostly that, oh, are you really serious? Are you ready to follow the Guru's instruction? Because even 16 rounds throughout your life takes a lot of determination. It is not easy, right? Even I know how it goes. So the point to understand is, yes, it's better not to get hung up even on that. It's okay. We have to think about a bigger picture, and it really depends. I think, as I said, like it's a very, very case dependent matter. I mean, if exactly you can discuss later on whenever you want. We can discuss that if required. But the point is Uber level point will remain the same. That even on that we should not get hung up on. Okay, people get, for example, एक बार प्रभुपाद अपने disciples के साथ, like when he came in India and there was a huge number of disciples and all of that, he went through somewhere. I think वो Mumbai temple के लिए they were collecting funds, and some big businessman invited them for lunch, and Prabhupada went with all the disciples, and वो लोग खाने के लिए बैठे, और there was some disciple next to Prabhupada, and he said, Prabhupada, after eating that prasad, he said, Prabhupada, इसमें onion है. Okay. And Prabhupada said कि I know, keep quiet, eat if you feel like, otherwise leave it, don't make noise about it. Okay. The point is कि मतलब it's not about कि ठीक है onion है तो हम उठ के खड़े हो जाएंगे, and how can you serve us, we don't eat onion and things like that, right? It's also about the intention of the person. He didn't knew, right? And he doesn't understand whatever it is. So we have to be accommodating at times. But the bottom line is that कि मतलब it's not a good idea to get hung up even on spiritual matters. There are few things that we should not tolerate for sure. When actually somebody says bad things about, like I mean, if it is about Krishna or Guru, then yeah, we should speak up, and we should not tolerate for sure. And that scriptures are clear about that. Scriptures say that if it is about your Guru, then for sure either defeat that person immediately at that time, or run away from that place, okay, or give up your life, any of the three, okay. But yeah, for other things we should try to find out what is the amicable solution and pray that they will understand. In fact, see, the other thing, the preaching, as I said, right, we cannot preach them through our voice, speech, but what we can do is we can preach people through our behavior. Okay, when they see that this person is really transforming, there is something positive happening, why would they not want us to improve, right? They would definitely want us, right? What we are discussing right now is about us getting better, us not getting angry on things, right? Who would not like us doing that? Okay, so it's about our how are we behaving. And in fact, there are wrong things which happen otherwise. I mean, Radheshyam Prabhu in one of the lectures, he was telling about an instance, right? You know that there are like counselors in Pune, okay, and then there are people, of course, who attend those counselor meetings and all. And one of the Mataji was attending a meeting, and something happened, and this person, the husband, he came to Radheshyam Prabhu and he said, "Ki who's the counselor of this lady? Tell me the name." And Radheshyam Prabhu said, "What happened? Kya hua kya?" Because he was so angry, and he said, "Ki nahi, the whatever she is attending, what she is hearing, I don't know, but she actually she doesn't take care of us. Okay, she's always busy with whatever she's doing, but she's not taking care of the house and everything else. I want to know who is she. Okay, I want to talk to the counselor." And things like that. Radheshyam Prabhu says कि यार कुछ तो गलत हो रहा है. He said कि ठीक है, I'll find out and I will let you know. अभी आप जाओ. Okay. And then Radheshyam Prabhu talked to the counselor, and I mean, this conversation you will not find in any of the external lecture, by the way, but just telling you this particular thing because it might be relevant, is that, you know, Radheshyam Prabhu told the counselor, and the counselor talked to that Mataji also. And eventually what happened is that and what she was told is that you start taking care of your house also. Do not get too much hung up on your devotion. I mean, okay, that is equally important. And that person never came back. I mean, Radheshyam Prabhu says, you know, the Mataji started taking care of the house apart from the devotion, and that person never came back. So we have to, it's a balancing act. See, we have to understand that there is a horizontal duty we have and a vertical duty we have, right? And the horizontal duty is towards Krishna, and the vertical duty is, the vertical duty is towards Krishna, and the horizontal duty is towards the people around us, right? And we have to balance both. We have to become better at both. Like, it's not one way.
So I understood this point. Thank you. But only thing is, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you are able to manage, and if you are able to, like, balance both the duties,
yeah.
Then also some questions: how do we like how do we respond, or what should we do? Because we should not stop doing our vertical duty just because someone is expecting us not.
Yes, Mataji. I don't know if I understand it correctly. As I said, like, you know, thoda situation clear hoga, so I may be able to give you a real
okay, I'll connect with you. I'll connect with you.
Yeah, but I can tell you one thing, or Uber level thing, whatever I understood so far, इसके क्या होता है ना कि कभी-कभी there are people around us जो कभी भी नहीं समझेंगे, ठीक है? No matter what you do, okay, they will be like this only. But क्या होता है कि and this is not an alien thing. I've personally seen this happening with so many of us. Okay, where it may be your parents, your in-laws who are like not, ये सब क्या कर रहे हो, ये क्यों कर रहे हो, इतना टाइम क्यों लगा रहे हो, and things like that, right? या भी एज नहीं है, आप मतलब साधु बनना है क्या, ये सब क्या स्पिरिचुअलिटी पे घुस रहे हो अभी तो, like, you know, they are okay with you having fun, but they don't want you to do all of this, right? There are people. Now, one thing.
Yes, you hit the call correctly.
Yeah, I think I got it. So I felt like, so basically क्या होता है ना माताजी, and it's very close to me also. I've seen that. So it cannot be solved sometimes. Okay, and we should not worry about them also. Okay, you keep being firm in your thing. Keep do not disappoint them in their practical thing, but be clear about it. It is a matter of time sometimes. जब थोड़ा time निकल जाएगा ना, those people will realize कि these guys are not going to go back. ठीक है, शुरू में क्या लगता है, नया नया शौक है, इनको समझा बुझा देंगे, but when they realize कि नहीं, they are like really serious about this thing, after a few years they will stop saying anything. ठीक है, and even after some time you will see that they will start appreciating also. Okay, the same people may come to you for advice also. because they will see कि यार कुछ अच्छा हो रहा है इनके साथ. But I am telling you, this will happen. Both of this will happen. At least the first one will definitely happen. They will stop saying things. Okay. The way I understood this phenomena is कि I see it as Maya trying to pull you back. Okay, those same people, same set of your close friends and your family who used to be like, so conducive to devotion, for them it was not a problem. They used to always think going to a temple is not a big wrong thing to do. And the same set of people are now against what it doesn't make sense, right? But it only fits in if you think in terms of scriptures, then only, right? There are things that this world is not designed to take, like, it's trying to hold you back, right? Don't want you to take the right direction. It's not easy. So I think just have patience. I can tell you, based on my experience, I think my personal experience also has been like this, like, that we had people in our family who were never okay with this. Okay. And I have seen so many of devotees in families were not okay with this and still not okay with that. Okay. But it does not matter. I mean, it's, if you are clear, if you are making sure कि आप अपनी responsibilities उनके लिए पूरी कर रहे हो, and you are absolutely clear about what you are doing, they will eventually be okay with it. And even if they are not, it might be okay. Okay, but you be clear about what you want. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, related to something like this, right? I mean, a person who gets addicted to smoking or drinking, right? अभी उसको भी आसपास के लोग उसके साथ नहीं होते हैं. They don't want him to do it. Eventually, gradually, they have to live with that situation. There is no other option. Think of it like this, and they have to be clear. The people around you have to be clear कि हम कोई ऐसा गलत काम नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are just doing the right thing as per scriptures. Anything, but I know this situation. I know that this is a real situation. Okay, but do not get deviated. I can tell you from my experience, do not get deviated. Okay, let it be. Unless, as long as it is not becoming too much of a hassle for you, let it be. People will say something, वो होने ही वाला है, हमेशा ही होने वाला है. आप कितना अच्छा भी करोगे या बुरा करोगे, दोनों केसेस में लोग कुछ तो बोलने वाले हैं. अभी अगर आप डिस्को में जाने लगोगे तो भी लोग कुछ बोलेंगे, और अगर आप डिवोशन करोगे तो भी कुछ बोलेंगे. It's okay. I think we should let it be, whatever it is. Don't take it too seriously. I can totally understand what you're saying. I mean, if you really want more than that, I can tell you. Later we can discuss. Yeah, we should not get too agitated by that. It's okay, not worth it. Okay, fine. So, okay, let's go to, I think, the next side, next part of the things. Let's, this is something I can, okay, let me quickly go through it. So essentially, the verse 62 and 63, what do they say is, कि लिविंग एंटिटी अगर अपने कृष्णा की सर्विस में लग गया ना, तो उसे भगवान का लविंग डिवोशन सर्विस मिल जाता है, राइट? अगर हमने अपना दिमाग, अपना सेंसेस भगवान की सर्विस में लगाया, तो हमें भगवान की भक्ति मिल जाएगी, राइट? प्रेम भक्ति ना. अगर उसने अपने सेंसेस को सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन में लगाया, राइट, तो जो लोग सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन में लगाते हैं, यानी कि जो अपने ग्रॉस सेंसेस को फंसाते हैं, वो क्या करते हैं? देवताओं की पूजा करते हैं कि हमें ये वाला वरदान मिल जाए और वो मिल जाए, और उसके ताकि हमें जल्दी से हम सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन कर सके. दैट इज द सेकंड कैटेगरी ऑफ पीपल. द थर्ड कैटेगरी इज दैट जो इसके बारे में सोचते रहते हैं, राइट, मुझे ये चाहिए. नाउ द पीपल हु गेट इनटू दिस, दे गेट इनटू अटैचमेंट, राइट? अटैचमेंट इज द रूट, लाइक जो होता है ना, बिल्कुल कूट बोलते हैं संस्कृत में उसे, और इंग्लिश में रूट बोलते हैं. सो दैट इज द रूट ऑफ द इविल. ठीक है, सो वहां से अटैचमेंट से लस्ट डेवलप होती है, और वहां से एंगर शुरू होता है, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स एंगर गेट्स इनटू all the remaining fall down, right? And this is what the verse talk about, कि as you contemplate, you get into attachment. From attachment, lust develops. From lust, anger comes, right? And this anger causes delusion, right? समोह. और फिर वहां से स्मृति भ्रम होता है, bewilderment of memory, और फिर आप उसके बाद ultimately fall down कर जाते हो, right? And this is the situation for the living entities. So this is how it is described. So if you, it's very very important to cut it attachment at that point. जब ये attachment शुरू होता है ना, उसके पहले ही उसे काट देना चाहिए. In fact, contemplation के stage पे ही काट देना चाहिए. Yeah. So anyways, I think enough said, right? So let's talk specifically about anger, because some people said last time, I think on somebody was saying, right, कि let's talk about practical practical things, real world things, right? I don't know if not enough real world things have been said, we can talk a bit more, right? So first question is, हमें ये समझना होगा कि is our life about contemplating about sense objects, right? Is the purpose of our life, right? We have to be very very clear लोगों को, और and why, I mean if we have to do that and why, because ये जो है ना, ये जो वर्सेस, जो 2 वर्सेस हमने सुनी ना, ये उन लोगों के लिए है जो अपनी हैप्पीनेस बाहर खोजते हैं। अगर ये चीज ऐसे हो गई, मेरे हिसाब से हो गई, तो मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा या हो जाऊंगी, राइट? या मुझे ये मिल गया आईफोन 12 11 वट एवर, विंडोज 11 इंस्टॉल हो गया मेरे डेस्कटॉप पे, तो मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा, राइट? दिस इज व्हाट, इफ दिस इज द पीपल, बिकॉज दे थिंक कि हैप्पीनेस इज अबाउट कि ये पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन मिलने से हैप्पी होना होगा, राइट? बट जो समझ में नहीं आता ना उन लोगों को कि हैप्पीनेस इज नॉट एन एक्सटर्नल अफेयर, हैप्पीनेस इज एन इंटरनल अफेयर। ओके, हैप्पीनेस जो है वो अंदर से आती है। उसके लिए ना एक ऐसा इंसान जो इनफ खाने के लिए 2 समय का खाना भी नहीं होता, who doesn't have that much food or doesn't have a great house to live in, he is also peacefully, happily, he sleeps in the night, right? And people like Tata, Birla, Ambani, they also don't get enough sleep. So happiness is definitely not an external affair, and this is a mistake that all the materialistic people do. सभी को ऐसा लगता है कि हैप्पीनेस हमारे को जैसे ही हमें बाहर की ये एक्सटर्नल चीज मिल जाएगी तो हो जाएगी, एंड वो नहीं मिलती है, then you get into anger and all sort of things, right? And this could be a object, it could be a situation, it could be a person, any of that, right? So it's not an external matter. First thing you have to be clear about. So contemplating, this is not our life all about, right? Life is much more than that, and it's more important than that, is what have to be understood. The second thing to understand about anger is ki it is just one letter short of danger, right? So as soon as you are into anger zone, you are very close to getting into a danger zone, right? तो वो लोग क्या क्या नहीं करते, right? Just think about it. I heard somewhere, like, 1 month back or sometime, it was in news, right? कि एक person ने अपनी wife को he killed her with axe, okay, and then he dragged her to in the road, right? He was so angry. Just I could not digest that thing. How can somebody be so angry, right? Ki, matlab, he was not, that was not enough. Killing her was also not enough. He was just dragging her on the streets and things like that, right? So people do all sort of wrong things just sif is anger mein phas ke. So we have to be very very kind of careful about it, right? And Shastra एक specific word use करते हैं anger के लिए, and they call it Kamanuj. Okay, so Kamanuj means what? Anuj means the younger brother. So they say that anger is the younger brother of lust. Okay, so as this verse also says, right, कि जैसे ही काम satisfy नहीं होता ना, वैसे ही क्रोध शुरू हो जाता है. So if you are like जैसे ही आपका बड़ा भाई satisfy नहीं होता है तो छोटा भाई आ जाता है, which is the anger which will come in, right? So we have to be very careful about our desires and lust. Yeah, a practical question, right? Okay, that will be a good question for even whatever we discuss so far. So why do you get angry जब आपका बच्चा आपकी बात नहीं सुनता है तो? Why do you get angry?
Because we think that certain things should happen in a particular way,
yeah,
what we are expecting from kid, and in case if you have a little bit less tolerance, because it depends upon the person to person, but so if you have less tolerance, probably if kids repeat same thing after some time, then maybe you will shout on him or scold him, or you will get angry.
Yeah, exactly, something of that sort, right? कि मतलब हमें अपने हिसाब से, so now we the root of this thing starts when we start contemplating कि he is my child. Okay, ये और मेरा बच्चा है ना, तो मेरा बच्चा है तो मेरी बात सुननी चाहिए. He should listen to me. And that is the lust, right? कि मतलब he should behave the way I want. And if he doesn't listen to me, I will get angry, right? And as I said, right, कि मतलब Krishna says elsewhere कि lust, greed, and anger are road to hell. So all of these three. So but the point is कि मतलब this contemplation on the wrong thought, okay, कि that my way it should be, right? मुझे ऐसे ही बैठ के पढ़ाई करनी है, अगर एक बच्चा सोचता है तो भी he gets into the wrong path, right? And if a parent says कि मेरे हिसाब से ही सुनना चाहिए, then also it's a wrong path. But the point is कि we have to realize that the child apparently looks like our child, but he is an individual soul, right? And he has his own free will, and you cannot control it. And the same thing applies for anybody else around us. So it is that wrong contemplation which gets into this trouble. Okay.
I mean, I think, bro, as Mataji said, like I was just reading message.
Yeah.
I mean, she also mentioned like this. Sometimes we get angry because we care for the child and we love and we want them to be disciplined. So sometimes we have to be a strict teacher. So that also comes into that category.
Yes. So yeah, anger. So I'm not saying कि there is भगवान ने ना हमें जो भी दिया है ना वो फालतू में कुछ नहीं दिया है. So अगर हमें एंगर भी दिया है ना तो उसका भी एक पर्पस है. Okay, and there is a good thing that can be done out of it. Like think about Hanuman, right? He used anger in the right thing. I mean, he actually used it for serving the Lord, right? And he got perfection with that. मतलब पूरी लंका को आग लगा दी, right? तो एंगर का उन्होंने बहुत सही यूज किया और एंगर को हम भी यूज कर सकते हैं सही तरीके से. बट वी हैव टू बी वेरी क्लियर कि इट्स अ वेरी स्लिपरी स्लोप. मतलब अगर आपने थोड़ा सा भी गलत डायरेक्शन में गए तो आप हाथ भी जल सकता है, राइट? और मोर ऑफन देन नॉट रिस्क ऐसे होते हैं, राइट? डिसिप्लिन करने के लिए यस, बट एज आई सेड, राइट, कि कितना यूज करना है, मतलब जैसे कितनी मिर्च मसाला डालना है, कितनी मिर्च डालनी है सब्जी में, वो क्लियर होना जरूरी है, राइट? यू हैव टू बी एबल टू मास्टर दैट आर्ट. नहीं तो थोड़ी ज्यादा मिर्च हो गई तो यू कैन नॉट, इट्स अ यूजलेस सब्जी देन. हाँ, डिसिप्लिन के लिए यूज करना चाहिए बिल्कुल. लाइक प्रभुपाद के फादर जो थे गौर मोहन डे, so what he used to do is कि whenever he had to discipline, and Prabhupada was so impressed that he used to tell about this thing, right, in his lectures. कि मतलब his father used to, whenever Prabhupada used to do anything wrong, so his father used to ask to like tell him one thing कि देखो I am going to beat you, but let me make it clear कि I am doing it for your own benefit. ठीक है. And Prabhupada used to say कि see, he was so much in control कि he used to even tell me this. ठीक है. It's not like that, right? कि मैं तुम्हारे फायदे के लिए कर रहा हूँ जो भी कर रहा हूँ, and you will realize it later. So, but the point is, yes, we have to be, if you are able to control that level, yeah, of course we should discipline child, and that's required. But should not lose it like that, right? कि मतलब should not lose the whole thing. That's the point. There's a subtle difference between these two. I hope you understand. Right. Okay. Yeah, focus on intensity of anger. Okay, we need mercy of Lord for good parenting. Yes, I'm just reading the messages. Yeah, correct, Mataji. I mean, like, yeah, parenting is a art for sure, but intensity हमारे हाथ में नहीं होती कभी-कभी, right? जब that is what is being said in this verse कि मतलब एक बार क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् विस्मृति भ्रमः, कि मतलब एक बार क्रोध आ गया ना तो उसके बाद दिमाग कभी-कभी काम करना बंद कर जाता है, and then you don't know what is right and wrong, and then it just goes out of your hand, right? And then you do things which you shouldn't have done, and then you get into this material. बुद्धि नाशात् प्रणश्यति. प्रणश्यति is means like कि अरे आप फिर से material birth and death में फंस जाओगे. And why will that happen? अरे लोग क्योंकि क्रोध में जाके लोग किसी का खून भी कर देते हैं, right? और कुछ इतनी बुरी-बुरी चीजें भी कहते हैं, which they will get bad karmas and they will again get into this material world again and again, right? So a lot of it happens because of this anger and delusion, क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं होता सही और गलत क्या है. तो हाँ, आपके हाथ में होगा इंटेंसिटी चेक करना, then you can do that, but sometimes it goes out of our hand, more often than not, I would say, right? So yeah, in fact, yeah, this lust and anger are like brothers for sure, right? And this is how they you get caught very easily, as I said, right? हाँ प्रभु जी, शांत हो, tell me.
Prabhuji, so does it mean that we should know that where to stop it when we are getting angry? And
Yeah.
as you are right that most of the things happen when someone cross the limit of anger, and then as you were giving the example, like look at the Delhi's red lights, and then when two cars get crashed and then shootout happen. Look at the Sushil Kumar case that somebody insulted him and then he murdered one guy just for anger. I mean, these are some of the recent cases which are around with us. So I mean, does it mean that we should increase our tolerance power, and we should control that anger on somewhere that the limit?
Yeah. So Prabhuji, actually, okay, let's talk about how the solution is. I have few slides for that, but for that particular case na, as I said कि मतलब I have seen it so much. I was in Delhi for a few years early in my life, and what I have seen is कि अगर दो कारें आमने सामने आ गई ना, so ट्रैफिक जाम हो जाता है, बिकॉज इन दो कारों में से ना कोई भी कार पीछे लेने को तैयार नहीं होता. दे विल बोथ बी सिटिंग लाइक दैट कि मैं पीछे कैसे जाऊं, राइट, एंड इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ प्राइड, ठीक है, कि अगर मेरी कार पीछे नहीं हो सकती है, एंड देयर विल बी अ ट्रैफिक जैम, नोबडी विल बैक ऑफ, ठीक है.
तो फिर भी रोज ट्रैफिक जाम लगा, अगर किसी की कार पीछे से टकरा गई, बम्पर को मार दिया, तो वो पॉइंट भी चल जाती है.
देन तो फिर अब भूल जाओ मतलब. लेकिन द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज a lot of it is, as I said earlier also, right, कि a source of all of this is in the false ego, right, because हमारे हिसाब से सब कुछ होना चाहिए, right, क्योंकि मैं बड़ा आदमी हूँ. false ego says that कि मतलब you are the best, right, और वो जो बेस्ट होने की प्रॉब्लम है ना, वो that creates a lot of issues. I mean, if we actually are clear about it कि it doesn't matter, right, कि मतलब it's okay even if I have to, anyways it doesn't matter, मेरी कार तो बम्प हो ही चुकी है, मतलब एनीवेज मुझे उसके लेके जाना है, right? In fact, we should be, yeah. I mean, so let's talk about the solutions. There are many actually, not just that, but there are many solutions like that. Anyways, so yeah, but we get caught. I mean, जब हम अपने हिसाब से करने के लिए आते हैं ना, तो हम फंस जाते हैं. आपको पता है ना, monkeys को कैसे पकड़ते हैं अफ्रीका में? What they do is, जो कैच करने वाला होता है ना मंकी को, वो एक पॉट लेता है मिट्टी का, और उसके अंदर ना काफी सारे बेरीज डाल देता है, ओके, और वो मंकी को दिखाता है, ये देखो 1 बेरी 2 बेरी 3 बेरी डाल के रख के छोड़ के चला जाता है, और मंकी क्या करता है ना, हाथ डालता है उस बेरी के लिए और फंस जाता है, राइट. और वो अगर अपना हाथ से बेरीज छोड़ देगा तो वो निकाल लेगा, बट वो छोड़ना नहीं चाहता, एंड वो उस बेरी को पकड़ा रहता है और उसमें फंस जाता है, और वो कई दिनों तक फंसा रहता है, और फिर वो आता है हंटर और उसको पकड़ के ले जाता है, राइट. सो द पॉइंट इज कि द सेम विथ अस, राइट, हम अपने हिसाब से जो करना चाहते हैं ना कि मेरे हिसाब से ये होगा, एंड वी गेट कॉट इन दैट प्रॉब्लम. If we actually are ready to let it go, it's okay. I mean, like, how does it matter? Mahaprabhu said ki amani na man dena kirtaniya sadahari, right? People give respect to people who are not even worthy of respect. How does it matter really? It doesn't matter, right? It's okay, let it go. I mean, just say, I mean, okay, and we get hung up on that, right? Not my mistake, how can I say sorry? It's okay, I say sorry, that doesn't matter. It will not make you small anyways, right? That person will respect you afterwards, because he'll realize कि यार this person is really good, okay. uh, all sort of things जो हमें लगता है ना कि हम छोटे हो जाएंगे, हमें कुछ, all of that is artificial, okay. as चैतन्य चैतामृत says कि मतलब यही सब मनोधर्म, ये सब जो है ना, ये मेंटल बनाई हुई चीजें हैं कि ये अब मैं बड़ा हूँ, मेरे लिए हिसाब से होनी चाहिए चीजें, मैं छोटा हो जाऊंगा, this is a tussle going on, and if I say sorry, then other person will make wrong things about it. There's nothing wrong which is happening anywhere anyways, right? I mean, it's just you have to decide what do you want. I mean, like, of course, I am not saying that you fall down big time, but at the same time we should be uh, yeah, exactly, false ego is hurt, right? Mega mother is saying, right, yeah, when we say sorry, that's what happens, right, कि हम कैसे छोटे बन सकते हैं, correct. But at the same time, and that's why a sadhana is required. I mean, like, some amount of practice is required. I mean, personally, I will tell you from my experience. I mean, like, it's important that false ego should be attacked sometimes, regularly. Okay. And when I started doing book distribution in my life, like, I was really lucky to have some wonderful devotees around me. And one day, yeah, I don't know. Sonali Mataji would know, right? Ajit Madhav Prabhu, she knows, right? So Ajit Madhav Prabhu and I went for book distribution. I mean, I was so lucky that day. And basically, we were doing book distribution in a place like, it's a IT area in Pune, Hinjewadi, and रोड पे जो ऑटो वाले थे, एंड जो रोड पे जो बैठे होते हैं ना वेंडर्स, छोटे छोटे, कोई लेडी बैठी हुई है छोटे से एक दुकान लगा के, एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. एंड आई वेंट टू दैट डायरेक्शन, आई स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग टू देम, एंड आई वाज सो शॉक्ड दैट डे. आई वाज सो प्लीजेंटली सरप्राइज कि मैं ना अपने ईगो में कभी उन लोगों से बात भी नहीं करता था. मुझे लगता था कि मैं छोटा हो जाऊंगा, मतलब कभी सीधे मुंह बात भी नहीं की थी. एंड आई हैड टू सिट नेक्स्ट टू दैट लेडी एंड टॉक टू हर कि आप लोगे क्या, ये किताब 100 रुपए की है, एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, प्यार से बात करना. and I was so pleasantly surprised कि यार वो कितने अच्छे से बात कर रही है. मतलब I never had this conception in my mind. I always used to think कि I am a big person and मुझे ये छोटे मोटे लोगों से बात क्या करनी है, right? And that day I decided, this is the thing. I mean, like, I really find pleasure in book distribution. But the point is कि false ego को थोड़ा थोड़ा अटैक करना बहुत जरूरी है, कि हम उसे थोड़ा थोड़ा ठंडा करें. और somebody will say कि यार बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन से क्या फायदा होगा आपको प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में, राइट? बट बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन से आपको फायदा ये होगा कि आपको थोड़ा सा ना झुकना आएगा, कि when right really, I mean, अपना जो ईगो होता है ना कि मैं कैसे झुक जाऊं, हमें थोड़ा सा उसको नीचे लाना बहुत बहुत जरूरी है. बहुत बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है, right? Anyways, it's a yeah, it's a lot of it causes this anger, right? Anyways, so let's talk about how anger happens, right? What is the cause?
Prabhuji, can you
Yeah.
share the previous 2 slides in the group if it's possible after the class?
Yeah, I've been sharing it anyways, right? I mean, those slides, I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. So I think we discussed about it a lot, right? But just to beat it to death, the anger happens जब हम meditate करना शुरू करते हैं, right? Object, person, desire. We want it our way, and then you get attached to it. You want that object, and when you don't get it, then you get anger, right? So bottom line is that root cause of anger is attachment. जो मैंने पहले बोला था कि this attachment is a big reason why the anger happens. So किसी भी सिचुएशन से, किसी भी पर्सन से, किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट से बहुत ज्यादा अटैच हो जाना क्रिएट्स कॉजेस एंगर फॉर श्योर, नो डाउट अबाउट इट. ठीक है ना? क्योंकि आपके हिसाब से चीजें नहीं होने वाली. वी डोंट रियलाइज दैट. अगर आप देखोगे ना तो इस दुनिया में ना कभी खुशी कभी गम होता है. मतलब कोई भी चीज एक जैसी नहीं होती है. जब भगवान बोलते हैं ना कि मटेरियल वर्ल्ड के बारे में बोलते हैं ना, तो ऐसे ही कुछ बोलते हैं, राइट? कि मतलब सुख दुख हानि लाभ जब भी बातें करते हैं तो ये दो तरह की बातें करते हैं. तो ये दोनों चीजें होने ही वाली हैं, 50-50, करेक्ट? और मे बी 40-30, वी डोंट नो, लाइक सम परसेंटेज फॉर इन आवर लाइफ डिपेंड्स. तो पॉइंट इज कि हमारे हिसाब से सब कुछ नहीं होने वाला. एज सुन एज वी स्टार्ट थिंकिंग ना कि मेरे हिसाब से होंगी चीजें, फ्रस्ट्रेशन इज गोइंग टू कम फॉर श्योर. बी अश्योर्ड अबाउट इट. सो लेट्स जस्ट दिस इज अ रूट कॉज ऑफ द होल थिंग. Okay.
Yeah, I have
Now, yes, please.
So, I mean, right now we discussed कि anger is definitely a outcome of what output, what you inputs you get during the
Yeah.
conversation or whatever is the situation is. But there might be so many situations where things are not happening as per your will, then anger comes. But if you don't relate to that, okay, we understood that there are things which will not happen, and it should not be like that. Whatever we think, it should happen according to our will. But there are few situations, like in your work life or in your personal life, where things, the situation is coming where you have one particular agenda to drive. If I talk about some workplace, if I have some agenda to drive in my team,
Yeah.
and I know that that I have to drive because my organization is saying this, and
Yeah.
one of my team member not saying straight that he or she will not do it, but definitely lies and manipulates the situation, and that situation comes again and again. And it can happen in this personal life also, that where
Yeah.
a person is not telling your friend that I don't like this and I will not do that, and at the same time he or she is lying that okay, I have done it, I have left this to eat, and whatever it is. In
Yeah.
that situation, how you come out? Because those situations will come again and again. These are all
Yeah.
day-to-day things which comes at your workplace or in your personal life. So how to handle those situations where you are not getting it touched to your false ego? Yes, we can understand that. What I think is key, that is their karma which they are doing by lying or manipulating, and my karma is just believe and not realize that.
Yeah, Mataji, I think as I said, कि ना what Krishna says is that कि कामेश क्रोधेश रजोगुण समुद्भव, यानी कि ये जो काम और क्रोध है ना, ये रजोगुण से पैदा होता है. Now रजोगुण क्या होता है? Okay, रजोगुण has two main qualities. One is called hankering, the other one is called lamentation. Okay, now there are 2-3 ways. I mean, there are multiple ways through which we can lead. I mean, you're talking about a leadership kind of thing, right? So one is that through rajogun, right? कि मतलब मेरे हिसाब से काम करो, right? I mean, I have an agenda. There is another way of doing it also, and I'm just giving you alternate, but basically up to you to pick it up or not. But the other way is to do it through the mode of goodness. ठीक है, जहां पर you are happy and they can be made happy as well, right? It depends. There's no right way, or how to do it is a separate implementation detail. But I can tell you, हम क्योंकि रजोगुण में अगर होंगे ना, तो हम वैसी ही चीजें डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करेंगे. Now how to be in a specific gun, it depends on how do we work on in our own inner betterment. Okay, my personal experience has also been that this only causes frustration. I mean, if I try to shout at people and say कि नहीं इस हिसाब से होना चाहिए ऑफिस में, then it will only cause frustration to me, because वो लोग सुनेंगे नहीं सुनेंगे, जॉब छोड़ के भी जा सकते हैं, कुछ भी हो सकता है, anything can happen, right? They will go and complain or whatever, give me bad marks in the poll or something like that. But that all that can happen. But if enough reasoning is given, if we are able to accommodate them in the way they have, like, try to understand what the problem is. Now what the solution is will come when you are in a mode of goodness. तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि आसपास वालों को क्या करना सही रहेगा. क्या मुझे उनको समझने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि क्या ये रीजन है, क्यों ये बार बार रिपीट हो रहा है. डू दे अज्यूमिंग कि इंटेंशन इज राइट, ओके, दे रियली वांट टू वर्क, राइट? ऐसा कुछ तो है नहीं, फिर क्यों ये होता है, what is the cause of it? It depends. It anger can also be used. I'm not saying कि anger cannot be used, but it should be used with regulation. As in, हमें पता होना चाहिए कि हम anger दिख रहा है, but are we really angry or not? It depends. I mean, if we are getting frustrated and angry, it just reflects on our thing, क्योंकि हमने ये situation नहीं tolerate कर पाई, right? So राधानाथ महाराज says about this particular topic about anger कि देखो, जब आप सोल्जर को लड़ने के लिए भेजते हो ना बाहर, तो पहले आप सोल्जर का तैयारी करते हो, right? They get like equipped and all that, and then they go out. And if you and this world is like that. The world, there are things which will come to us and try to distract us from things, right? So we have to be firm in our sadhana. Okay, if we are firm now, so these situations will come and go. मतलब situations तो होने ही वाली हैं आसपास. But how? And let's talk about it in next slide. Let me go to the next slide. Why should I talk about all of this? So how to control anger? I mean, you are not angry yet, but how do you make sure that you actually don't get into that zone? The first thing is controlling attachment. Okay, that I want it to be this way. Now whatever has to happen, I'll tell you, like, will happen, right? I mean, I can tell examples from my office also. Like, I am not able to control everything, right? I'm not a great person anyways, so how but basically कभी ऐसी situation होती है कि अरे एक किसी को बोल रहे हैं what you're saying, right? And I want it to be my way, right? Because I'm attached to that situation. If it is not happening, then what can you do, right? You can get angry, or you can try to understand, solve it, or take action against that person. Either of that is fine, right? But do I need to get frustrated about it? Maybe not. I mean, why should I get frustrated? बिना फ्रस्ट्रेट हुए भी क्या मैं इस सिचुएशन को सॉल्व कर सकता हूं? दैट इज समथिंग दैट वी कैन ट्राई टू फाइंड द सॉल्यूशन. बट इट विल ओनली हैपन जब मैं अपने अंदर कंपोज्ड हूं. अगर मैं एंग्री नहीं हो रहा हूं तो then only it is possible, right? Now controlling attachment has other meanings also, right? Because we get attached to other things also, right? अपनी situation से, अपने लोग किसी से भी हो सकते हैं. एक फ्लावर पॉट से आप अटैच हो गए, राइट? अभी उस फ्लावर पॉट टूट गया, then think about that situation, क्या होगा, right? Anything, we can get attached to anything in around us, right? A person, a situation, or a thing, correct? So इसलिए अटैचमेंट को थोड़ा कंट्रोल पे ही रखना चाहिए. मतलब वी शुड कीप इट इन चेक फॉर श्योर, बिकॉज अटैचमेंट, एज वी हर्ड, इज की इट इज द रूट कॉज ऑफ ऑल द एंगर, lust and things like that, right? Now we have to understand here, the spiritual point is कि we have to understand कि Krishna is a person is called Krishna when he is all attractive, right? So the attraction should be to, all the attraction should be to Krishna, right? There should not be attraction otherwise. But होता क्या है इस दुनिया में, इस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में, we get attracted to everything other than Krishna. Okay, and as we discussed in this verse कि जब भी आपका अटैचमेंट, कृष्णा बोलते हैं कि जब भी आपका अटैचमेंट मटेरियल चीजों पे जाता है तो आपको सिर्फ फ्रस्ट्रेशन मिलता है. दैट इज द पॉइंट, राइट? सो वी हैव टू बैलेंस दिस थिंग. मतलब आई नो कि वी कैन नॉट से कि अरे वी रिनाउंस एवरीथिंग, बट हाँ, अपना अटैचमेंट अगर हम कृष्णा की तरफ thoda rakhenge na, then we will not get distracted. They will get distracted less by these things. And how to do that? I mean, I think that has been discussed anyways so many times, right? Ki matlab, we have to focus on our internal development, right? Ki hame apne rather than external usse, right? And how to do that? Yeah, we take shelter of holy names, sadhana, siddhant, and sadachar. Keep your focus on all these three. If we do these things, right, and then we are kind of getting equipped. As I said, Radha Maharaj says, you have to get equipped before you go out in the world, right? If you, and that is the, I mean, at least I can tell you from my personal experience. I mean, there's a reason why I try to chant my rounds early in the morning. Okay, because what I realized is if I do that now, then I am in control of things. And if I don't do that now, then basically the situations are controlling me. Okay, I go all over the place. It depends. It's a conditioning maybe. I was told once by somebody, it's a conditioning maybe, but it's a good conditioning to have, right? ऐसी conditioning होनी चाहिए हर एक को. I may be totally wrong, but the point I'm trying to make is कि अगर हम अपने साधना को फर्म रखेंगे ना, अगर हमारा फोकस साधना पे ज्यादा होगा ना, तो हम ये मटेरियल चीजों पे इतना डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं होंगे, चाहे सिचुएशंस कैसी भी हो, क्योंकि सिचुएशंस तो होने ही वाली हैं. ठीक है. सो वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट हम अपनी साधना को एलिवेट, अपने आप को एलिवेट करें वहां पर. बिकॉज अगर हम नॉट गलती से, बट अगर आप सत्व गुण में होते ना, ऋचा माता जी, तो आपको जो क्वेश्चन है ना, वो अलग ही, उसका आंसर एक अलग ही आता. मतलब उसका ना, देन बेसिकली, and I don't need to tell you what will happen. Okay, you will yourself find out that answer, which will not frustrate you. Okay, because there are so many examples in the scripture, so many examples, you can experience it yourself. As we get elevated now, you will realize that the same set of situations don't frustrate you. Okay, whatever small I realized in this domain, that much I can tell you honestly. Okay, what is Siddhant and Sadachar? So basically, sadhana is what we do, right? Chant your rounds, right? Make sure that whatever, it depends. Sadhana could mean many other things, but let's keep it to chanting our rounds honestly. Okay. Siddhant is about the theory that we hear. Okay, because so chanting your round helps control your mind, apart from many other things. Siddhant is very important जब हम actual में angry होंगे ना. So I was keeping this slide for something. जब अभी तक हमें anger आया नहीं है, right? So अगर हमें सिद्धांत क्लियर होते हैं ना, तो हमें पता होता है कि क्या सही है और क्या गलत है जब एक्चुअल में एंगर आएगा. तो इसलिए बहुत क्लियर होना चाहिए सिद्धांत पे. Very very important thing. सिद्धांत, nothing can beat it. And सदाचार is something learn how to behave with people. Okay, if we know that कि मतलब एक वैष्णव है, एक वैष्णव के साथ कैसे बिहेव करना है, a person who's living with you is also a वैष्णव, तो उनके साथ कैसे बिहेव करना है, if you know that, then you will behave properly. So all these three things we should try and imbibe as much as we can in the normal happy hours, right? जब हमें anger नहीं आया तो, and they will help us when we get angry, because then you will know what is the wrong that you can do. Okay. And one more thing is, do not have unnecessary expectation from people, because as I said, right, बहुत बार हमें objects के कारण anger आता है, but more often we get angry because of people, right? हमें ये याद रखना चाहिए. I can tell you one thing is कि ये जो लोग हैं ना हमारे आसपास, ये सब कृष्णा को छोड़ के आए हुए हैं. ये कृष्णा के भी नहीं हुए. Okay, तो हमारे क्या होंगे? So basically ना, बहुत ज्यादा expectation रखनी नहीं चाहिए इन लोगों के साथ. We should always be peaceful with whatever we getting. So if we start with expectation ना कि मेरे लिए ऐसा करे, मेरे लिए वैसा करे, तो ultimately you will somehow or the other end up in anger zone, क्योंकि वो चीजें होंगी नहीं, then you will get angry. Better not to have a lot of expectation. Do whatever you think is right. If the employee is not behaving properly, if you're not able to sort it out, better to fire him or her, rather than just contemplating on कि क्यों नहीं हो रहा वगैरह वगैरह, right? अगर neighbor नहीं सुन रहा, तो it's better to either file a police complaint or move to a separate house than contemplating and getting frustrated. Right? So I think let's take action rather than getting frustrated. So yeah, don't have a lot of expectation from people. Might help. I don't know any.
which you shared, of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, in that he said that you don't get neither you should get attracted to the situation, nor you get averse to the situation. You become
Yeah.
indifferent to the situation. Then only it will not impact you.
Right. Correct. You're right. That's correct. कि मतलब, yeah. So of course, as I was just trying to put it in the simple language, right? That don't have expectation. I mean, like, there is, इसके पहले भी जब बुद्धि योग के बारे में भगवान बता रहे थे ना, तो बुद्धि योग के सेक्शन में भी भगवान ये बोलते हैं कि, और उसके प्रभुपाद एक लाइन लिखते हैं, एक and that line really hit me big time. And it said कि जब हम अपनी ड्यूटीज करते हैं ना, without getting attached to them, right, being indifferent from them, and such behavior actually can take us back to Godhead. हम अपनी ड्यूटीज को अगर ऐसे परफॉर्म करते हैं जहां पर हमारी having being indifferent to them, like कि हमारे को कोई अप्रिशिएट करेगा या कोई अप्रिशिएट नहीं करेगा, whatever it is, right, this is my duty, I'll have to do it no matter what. इसके लिए मुझे कितना भी पेन हो रहा है, लोग मुझे कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं, अगर मैं कर रहा हूं या कर रही हूं और मुझे लोग फिर भी हंस रहे हैं उसको करने से, even then it's okay, but I have to do it, so I'll do it, right? Think about whenever duty comes, like think about Ram, right? I mean, like, whatever it is, whether good or bad, no, whatever is the duty, we'll do it no matter what, right? So basically, yes, that opens, I mean, like that, then why would you get angry then? Because you're just doing your duty, it doesn't matter. The problems happen when we expect things from people, कि मतलब मैंने ये किया तो मेरी तारीफ करो, या मैंने whatever it is, right? So then the problems start happening. So yeah, don't have much expectation from.
Can be vice versa also, Prabhuji, that maybe we are expecting something, but somebody else is expecting something else from us, and we are not able to fulfill that expectation, and we don't know that expectation. That's happened in the professional world and personal world both.
Yeah.
And whatever example we heard, maybe that uh, somebody wants something, and then that ego clash, or there are kind of different situation, and that situation is giving us like anxiety or anger, that why I don't want this problem, but this problem is coming because of someone else expectations. And probably praying to God or something can help us over there.
Yeah, so Prabhu, actually कैसे होता है ना कि we cannot control others,
yeah
right? Others could, so what to do with when others are angry, right? That's a separate problem. Now we have to understand one thing, कि ना whatever situation is thrown to us in the life, Krishna has a plan for all of it. बहुत ही सोची समझी planning है ये, मतलब, and actually it is about, like Radha Maharaj says कि given any situation, you can turn it into an opportunity, any situation, right? Based on what do you, I mean, how do you take it, because you have a free will. आप अपनी free will का use करके उसको किस direction में लेके जाते हो, it can become an opportunity for you. So जैसे डायमंड को जब तराशते हैं ना, तो उसमें पेन तो होगा अगर आप डायमंड की जगह पे होते तो, राइट? ठोक ठोक के, काट के, but the beauty comes out of it, right? So we think of it as an opportunity to become better for situations like that. Those situations will come where we are the victim, right, of this. But at the same time, from our side, what do we do, right? As I said, right, कि हम उसको opportunity में तभी बदल सकते हैं जब हम खुद अपना temper lose नहीं करेंगे. अगर हम angry हो जाएंगे, then we are getting into a wrong zone anyways, right? Then it is like you are one way to understand it is like, okay, you are going through your karma, it's okay, चुपचाप सह लो तो अच्छा है. अगर चुपचाप नहीं सहोगे, and if you react, then that reaction will cause some more action and you will get into more karmas, if not this life then next life, right? Sometimes it is also like this. And it does not mean कि चुपचाप सह जाओ का मतलब ये नहीं है कि मतलब you become really victim of it, right? When you have to speak, when you have to do things, do it, but don't get frustrated in the heart. It doesn't, that is not required, right? Take action for it, but don't get frustrated about it, right? I mean, whatever action you have to take, just do it, right? Yeah. Okay, I see a question that it is difficult to control ourselves with सिद्धांत. सिद्धांत जब तक ऊपर लेवल पे होता है ना, तब तक सिर्फ कहानी होती है. But as we start practicing it now in the life, तो फिर it becomes real thing. Then it is like a real thing that you are living. And उसका, I think I forwarded a message from Srila Prabhupada right today morning. what he said कि बहुत कुछ सुनना और बहुत कुछ याद करना जरूरी नहीं है, एक चीज सुनो, उसको रियली फॉलो करो। एक छोटी सी वर्ष का एक छोटा सा हिस्सा अगर हमको समझ में आ जाए ना कि अगर मैं भोग लगे बिना खाना खाता हूं तो मैं पाप खाता हूं, राइट? अगर ये एक छोटी सी बात समझ में आ गई, even that could liberate you out of this world, right? I mean, these small things can liberate you. There is the point is कि बहुत बड़े बड़े लेक्चर्स सुन लिए, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी किताबें पढ़ ली, लेकिन फॉलो कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं। You don't need to read it for the sake of reading it. You have to actually bring it in your life, practice it also, and then it will change for sure, right? So that is the reason why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati used to say कि सिद्धांत पढ़ने में बिल्कुल भी आलस नहीं करना चाहिए, like it's very very important, but at the same time you have to follow it. You cannot just read and forget. Okay. Yeah, so what to do when you are angry, right? This is real, right? Now you did all your preparation but you got angry, then what do you do? Yeah, so first thing is stay calm and try to not react at that moment, because ये गलती बहुत सारे हम लोग करते हैं, right? जब give it some time, I mean, and this is also coming from basically, as they say, the police says in US, right? कि anything you say can be used and will be used against you, right? So think about it. हमारा इतना सा अगर हमें समझ में आ गई बात ना, तो lot of angry reactions can just go away most of the time, because हम उस point पे थोड़ा सा सोचेंगे ना कि जो हम अभी बोल रहे हैं ना, वो बाद में सामने वाले को क्या इफेक्ट होगा उसका, for years and years that will affect, right? तो हमारा एंगर और एंगर का रिएक्शन बंद हो जाएगा। We just have to understand कि उस पॉइंट पर रिएक्ट करना थोड़ा सोचने की जरूरत है कि क्या मैं डिले कर दूं अपना रिएक्शन, should I react now or should I just keep quiet for some time, right? Might help us a big way, right? The second thing which helps, Radha Maharaj also says this ki try to count your blessings. Yes, Sharan, you have something?
Yeah, on point number one, Prabhuji, I mean, Premdam
Yeah.
was doing some exercise with us on Thursday, and they show some data that most of these big crimes happen. I don't have remember exact data, but most of the crimes happens because that, especially, he was talking about murderer case and all, top cases in every jail, and most of the crimes happen because they did not think another 10 seconds or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So maybe if they could have think 5 second or 10 second more, this crime they could have saved that big crime. I'm just supporting.
True. Absolutely. Yeah, I think what I think also the same thing, right? कि मतलब it is just a matter of few seconds or something. Anger is just like a wave, right? थोड़ा सा होता है, then it will go away. If you just can handle it for some time, things will be fine. You'll be ये जो सम्मोह और बुद्धि नाश और ये सब चीजें के चक्कर है ना, इनसे बच जाओगे आप, और उसके आगे you will be able to take a more rational decision. And yeah, and as many people say, is like, just try to count your blessings. Just think about the good things that exist with that person in front of you when you are about to react. Okay, there are lot of good things that person must be having, right? हम लोग normally just एक negative aspect देख रहे हैं, but there has to be lot of good things. So just rather than reacting, just try to understand कि कितनी सारी अच्छी चीजें हमें मिली हैं इस दुनिया में, right? And so many good things have been provided, even, and that what are the positives of that person, right? Might help us take it out, like just come out of this anger. Okay. In fact, a related thing is like, lot of times maybe you get angry with your spouse, right? And then, as I said, this blessings, counting the blessings help. The second thing which could help is ki think of their negatives in a positive way. Something I heard in lectures is like, that think about it कि कैसे मैं even it could be even something like कि अरे अगर ये मुझे correct नहीं कर रहे, this person is not correcting me, तो मैं I will not be able to become a better person, right? Whatever is being said maybe is better for me. That may be in a positive way, or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know what the situation would be, but it's possible to think in a positive way. I mean, if you can think like that. In fact, even think that people around us, right? हमारे आसपास इतने friends, इतने बाकी सारे जो लोग हैं, they may be so nice to us, but these people in the inner circle, they are the ones who actually will look after us, right? I mean, really speaking, our parents, our wife, kids, husband, things like that. These are the people who really will look after us no matter what, right? कितना भी बाहर वाले कितनी भी अच्छी अच्छी बातें कर रहे हो हमारे साथ, and we may be thinking कि they are our well wishers. So we have to be very very clear about it, right? In fact, we have to basically think that, like, you know, that it is like, you know, if nothing positive you can think about, just think like ki, are there people are around us, right? They are really alive. Even that is a gift for us. It's okay. I mean, you know, even that might help get out of anger at that time, right? And have gratitude. I mean, like, you know, gratitude is like a big solution. In fact, a lot of people say that, oh, the way to come out of, like, the antidote of anger is compassion. Okay, Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj says कि मतलब, you know, if you really want to sort out this anger problem, so having compassion for people will help you come out of it. ठीक है, उनके लिए compassion होना बहुत ज़्यादा help करता है, right? So, anyways, any thoughts? And at the end, as in the previous slide, like, you know, take shelter of holy name. If nothing helps, like, you know, just go take a break, go to a room and chant few rounds. That might help you come out of it. Yeah, so much of advice. All of this is coming from Parampara, somewhere or the other I've heard. Nothing is made up, not a single line. So, anyways, any thoughts? Does it make sense? I don't know. Rajiv Prabhu, what do you think?
Yeah, Prabhu, I mean, these are very good points. And the only thing which I feel, you know, on a practical side, I mean, yes, I mean, even though sometimes we try to not react, but yes, we do these kind of mistakes, we overreact. And yes, counter your blessing is a really good exercise, which I feel, you know, can be helpful if we are really able to recall this particular point at that point of time. Because when we are angry, sometimes, you know, I feel, I mean, I just think about myself, you know, let's say I'm angry on kids or maybe on Anu. So that time, you know, we just feel that, okay, we are disturbed, you know, something has not happened as per our expectation. So I found it very difficult to focus on the second point, you know, count your blessings, you know, maybe I go and take sleep, and then if I wake up, probably I'm in a better mood. So that is what, I mean, I generally do. And
if we do the point one, Prabhu, I think that will actually take us out of that zone very, very quickly, right? Just wait, just decide to wait for some time when you are angry, right? It will go away and you'll never get angry by it. You'll never lose temper. Every time, just decide to wait for some more time. And right, हम लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब, you know, as I said, right, we have to keep in mind, we have to be clear about it कि anger has something to do with false ego, has something to do with anything else, or things like attachment and things like that.
And true, actually, I mean, when I was in Pune, actually, that time, I mean, I heard, I think, one of very good lecture of His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj, in that he was basically sharing story of Rishi Bhragu. And I always relate that story with myself, in the sense, like, if I feel that, you know, I have to correct myself, then I think I have to, you know, probably, you know, what do you say, like, you know, think. I mean, I will just say that in that story, जब you know, ऋषि भृगु ने सोचा कि कौन सबसे बड़े भगवान है, तो वो ब्रह्मा जी के पास गए और उन्होंने उनसे उनको बगैर ओबेसेंसेस पे खड़े रहे. तो चूंकि एज पर स्टोरी ब्रह्मा जी के वो पुत्र हैं शायद, तो ब्रह्मा जी को मन में बुरा लगा. एंड देन भृगु ऋषि ने ये रियलाइज किया कि इनको गुस्सा आ रहा है. देन वो वहां से मूव हो गए शिव जी के पास. शिव जी को उन्होंने बोला, शिव जी ने बोला कि आओ मेरे ब्रदर, यू नो, गले मिलते हैं. तो ऋषि भृगु ने बोला कि अरे तुम तो बिल्कुल गंदे हो, नहाते भी नहीं हो, दूर रहो. एंड देन जब उनको लगा शिव जी को गुस्सा आ रहा है, तो वहां से भी वो चले गए. एंड देन सीधे जब वो विष्णु लोग गए, तो उन्होंने विष्णु जी के सीने पे लात मार दी. अब डेफिनेटली दिस वाज द वन ऑफ द वर्स्ट ऑफेंस. जैसे कि एज पर महाराज लेक्चर, लाइक ब्रह्मा जी से उन्होंने मेंटल ऑफेंस किया, शिव जी से वर्बल ऑफेंस किया, तो विष्णु जी से उन्होंने फिजिकल ऑफेंस किया. तो विष्णु जी का जो आंसर था, उन्होंने उनके पांव पकड़ के बोले कि आपको कहीं लगी तो नहीं. तो अगर ये एटीट्यूड अंदर डेवलप होता है, तो आई थिंक शायद हम बच सकें. अदरवाइज तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम बार बार फंस ही जाते हैं इसमें प्रभु।
यस ब्रो, आई थिंक सी हम लोग हम लोग भगवान को क्या ही फॉलो करेंगे ब्रो, मतलब बट यू आर राइट, आई थिंक that is correct. I mean, like that shows the greatness of a person. As I said कि मतलब angry होके हमें लगता है कि हम great बन जाएंगे, but actually the greatness of a person is a person who is able to tolerate, right? Who is able to actually let it pass. I mean, that person becomes better himself at least. See, ultimately हम लोगों का aim जो है ना वो यहाँ पर पड़े रहने का है नहीं, मतलब we all want to get out. Okay, and Krishna gets um, of course he will not get attracted by our anger and things like that, right? Those are not the qualities which will attract him, for sure. We have to become a better person to become qualified to go out, right? आप सोचो आप ऐसी हालत में पहुंच गए वहां पर स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड, हम मतलब को तो क्या हालत कर देंगे अब स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड की, राइट? सो इट्स वेरी वेरी क्लियर कि हम लोगों के को थोड़ा काम करना होगा अपने पर. यस, आई थिंक कपल ऑफ हैंड्स गॉट रेज्ड. आई थिंक Aditi Mataji, you have a hand raised.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Actually, my son is 6 years old, so he is very naughty. So मतलब कुछ ना कुछ खुराफात टाइप्स वो करता रहता है, तो वो गुस्सा आता ही है. वो मतलब कैसे आप कंट्रोल करोगे? वो ठीक है, उसको आई डोंट बीट हिम बट आई स्कोल्ड हिम अ लॉट.
Yeah,
वो
Mataji,
सुनता ही नहीं, कुछ ना कुछ फैला दिया, कुछ ना कुछ कर दिया, तो फिर मतलब
नहीं तो आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि वी डोंट, आई मीन आई नेवर सेड कि मतलब हमें एंगर बिल्कुल छोड़ ही देना है, राइट? ऑल आई एम सेइंग इज कि हमें अपने आप को मतलब लाइक थिंक अबाउट इट टू वेज, राइट? एंगर दिखाया सामने वाले का कुछ डिसिप्लिन करने के लिए माइट बी ओके, बट इफ इट स्टार्ट्स हर्टिंग अस देन देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम, राइट? अगर आप मतलब सो आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट एस्पेक्ट ऑफ एंगर व्हिच वी नीड टू लर्न टू हैंडल, right? If you have to take action, do that, but do not just start contemplating about it and meditating on this thing, right? कि मेरा बच्चा बदमाश है और उसको लेके हमने परेशान हो गए, frustrate हो गए. That is not right, right? That's the only point. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else who
थैंक यू
has any
प्रभुजी.
question? Thank you, Madhu. Any question? Any? Yeah, Varun Prabhu, you have a hand raised, I think.
या प्रभु जी. सो वही हम लोग एक्चुअली सोच रहे थे कि the first point which is mentioned here कि stay calm and don't react at that moment. I think यही सबसे बड़ा point है जिसको follow करना. I think that would help a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. ये for sure होता ही है कि जब भी हमें गुस्सा आता है तो उस मोमेंट पे वो चीज़ें ब्लर हो जाती हैं. एवरीथिंग इन द वर्ल्ड गोज ब्लर, और फिर हमारी बुद्धि बिल्कुल भी नहीं सोच पाती कि सही है गलत है क्या है. And I think that is for me that is the point which I should focus on,
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
I can improve. Yes.
I think that's correct, bro. I think yeah. And Shivam Swami, I mean, he talks about this point a lot, and actually my personal realization is also like this. अगर उस moment पे थोड़े time के लिए कुछ मिनटों के लिए you can handle it ना, it will go away. I mean, it will just go away. You will not be able to react then, and आप बाकी सारे कार्मिक reaction से बच जाओगे अगर आपने थोड़े minutes अपने आप को बचा लिया.
लेकिन प्रभु जी उस टाइम अगर शांत भी हो जाओ ना, लेकिन अंदर चलता ही रहता है, गुस्सा तो रहता ही रहता है.
हाँ,
मतलब
मतलब वो फिर आप सॉल्व कर सकते हो, राइट? उन चीजों को हैंडल करना पॉसिबल है. देखिए एज आई सेड, राइट, कि एक बार हमने वो हैंडल कर लिया ना, ये साइकिल वेव हैंडल कर ली ना, देन यू कैन काउंट योर ब्लेसिंग्स, देन यू कैन थिंक अबाउट द पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द होल थिंग. कि अरे वट एवर इट कुड बी मेनी थिंग्स, राइट? आई मीन इट डिपेंड्स सिचुएशन टू सिचुएशन, बट आप उसको पॉजिटिवली सोच सकते हो कि ओके अगर मैं अभी ऐसे नहीं रिएक्ट करता, चलो बात करके सॉल्व करते हैं. वट एवर इट कुड बी एनीथिंग, right? But all of that is possible only when we actually let it pass. If you don't let it pass, so there'll be always wrong reactions, right? Yes, Shailesh Prabhu, you have a question?
However, we just want to add one more point, like which I think the first point definitely is the most important point, and I think we have to work more on that only. But one thing which I mean, like sometimes based on like whatever the day-to-day office work, whatever goes on and create some anger or frustration, I think one of the solution which has worked for me is like discussing that with someone else as well, like sharing our experiences and then hearing the other's perspective as well. Because sometimes what happens, we see from one dimensions only, but when the other side of the dimensions comes in, we realize a different perspective altogether, and that helps us in not only just removing that anger, but also settling down that for permanently. Like instead of having some seeds around that anger for longer period of time, we basically let it go, and that actually I think is helped a lot in many cases for me.
That's true. That's true. Understood. Yeah. सही बात है. I think, yeah. Megha Mataji, you have a point, question?
No, Prabhuji, I don't have a question. Can I add one experience if it's okay?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji, if you remember, I think last month or so, I was really walked down and I shared like the anger issue I was facing. So by mercy of Krishna, and now that I'm seeing the slide, I mean, with your all blessings, actually, I can see that Krishna had this all arrangement made. So the point which you made in the slide, count your blessings. So when you pass that anger phase, when you are getting angry and you control it and you tolerate it, then actually you feel blessed. And you see why you were put into that situation. Uh, so I realized it myself. So it's perfectly making sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yes. Any other point? Let me ask somebody who has not spoken so far. Ashwini Prabhu, any thoughts? I don't know.
Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Is it okay? It makes sense. Doesn't make sense.
No,
Yeah.
yes, Babaji, it makes sense actually. So whatever you explain, I think, yeah, makes sense. So
Okay.
we should follow actually. Yeah, mostly I think I try to follow all the things, but yeah, it is still, there's a lot of things which is not being followed. So we should follow actually all the things.
Yeah, the previous ones actually, I mean, are very important. कि मतलब how well are we prepared? Are we really firmly fixed in our devotion? अगर अगर थोड़ा करते हैं ना, then it detaches us from this problematic situation. मतलब बहुत बार ना, these things will become very very easy. Like staying calm and all that will become very easy if we are really clear about our, and yeah, we have to be honest with ourselves, our practice.
Yeah.
तो बहुत सारी चीजें अपने आप solve हो जाएंगी. Adi, any question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So, like, I'm having, I guess, this doubt is regarding the first point, and this is actually applicable for Siddhant also. So, मतलब लाइक जब भी एंगर आता है तो मतलब कुछ ऐसे याद नहीं आता कि सिद्धांत मतलब उसी सिद्धांत को अप्लाई करना है. जैसे आपने जैसे बता फर्स्ट पॉइंट में जैसे लिखा है कि स्टे काम एंड डोंट रिएक्ट एट दैट मोमेंट. तो मतलब वो चीज बिल्कुल नहीं याद आएगी और एकदम खट से मतलब जैसे मतलब हम सुना देंगे दूसरों को कि जवाब दे देंगे दूसरों को.
नहीं तो ये चीजें ऐसी नहीं है कि हमें सी देयर आर टू थिंग्स. वन इज कॉल्ड आवर मन और एक होता है चित्त, राइट? तो चित्त इज द सबकॉन्शियस माइंड, राइट? दिस थिंग्स हैव टू गो देयर एंड देन ओनली दे विल स्टार्ट मेकिंग अ डिफरेंस. सो पॉइंट इज कि ऐसा हो सकता है कि we will not be able to control it first time, second time, right? But if we keep on reminding ourselves कि okay, if I would have just waited for 2 more minutes, right, these things would have calmed down, right? अगर whatever it is, right, आपको कोई डांटने के लिए आया है और अगर आपने 2 मिनट के लिए रिएक्ट नहीं किया होता तो सामने वाला शायद चला जाता अपनी बात करके, राइट? तो उसके लिए आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती, right? So that problem happened just because you reacted in that 2 minutes, right? So next time, if you think about it again, maybe next time we can try better, right? And next time again, things like that. We may fail, we may become better. It's just a process, right? It's okay to fall down. There is nothing wrong in doing that, as long as we are ready to get up. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Shivam Prabhu.
हाँ, हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
हरे
प्रभु
कृष्णा.
जी, अभी जो आपने बात की और जो मैं अभी एग्जाम्पल सुन रहा था राजीव प्रभु का भी, एक्चुअली हम लोग के साथ भी हुआ है. मतलब लाइक अराउंड 2 years बैक we stay on the 4th floor and 3rd floor lady who is a doctor around 60 years of age, she came to us. She was very furious, so because my son was playing Xbox, so she just she was very furious, very angry, एंड जस्ट बिकॉज शी वॉज काइंड ऑफ ओल्डर, हमने पहले नमस्ते की, उनको घर पे बिठाया, सोफे पे कहा कि आप बैठिए, पहले पानी पीजिए, मतलब शी वॉज वेरी एंग्री, तो हमें लग रहा था कहीं और उनकी तबीयत वगैरह ना खराब हो जाए। तो जैसे आपने बोला ना कि जस्ट फर्स्ट 60 सेकेंड्स में भी, एंड शी कूल डाउन सो मच जस्ट लुकिंग एट द लव और द अफेक्शन। और उसके बाद उन्होंने फिर सारी बात बताई कि मतलब शी इज़ एक्चुअली, शी हर सेल्फ वॉज ऑल्सो ए पेशेंट, शी कुड नॉट टॉलरेट दिस काइंड ऑफ नॉइज, एंड वंस वी अंडरस्टूड द अदर परस्पेक्टिव एंड वी काइंड ऑफ टोल्ड हर कि अब से आगे से हम लोग नहीं करेंगे ऐसा। बट जैसे ही उन्होंने देखा कि अच्छा बच्चा है, मतलब लाइक, एंड माई सन वॉज अराउंड आई थिंक 8 years ऑफ ओल्ड प्लेइंग एक्सबॉक्स, तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं नहीं बच्चे को खेलने दीजिए, एंड शी एक्चुअली टोल्ड जस्ट द रिवर्स of what the complaint with which she came up with. She said कि नहीं let him play, and you know there is no problem at all, now I know that you know he was playing and kids should play. तो पूरा जो उनका जो perspective था वो पूरा change हो गया within like 10 minutes. And so it was like, I think जैसे आपने बोला ना, compassion is the antidote of this. I think I can completely relate to that, क्योंकि अगर उसी समय अगर हम लोग एंग्री हो जाते या कुछ कह देते तो उस समय बात बिगड़ जाती है उस समय, एंड it might have led to a situation जहाँ पे मतलब either the society or police or someone else could have been involved at that time. And we met her again after 1 year and she had completely forgotten that incident. मतलब उनको याद ही नहीं था बिल्कुल भी कि अच्छा she came to us and she visited us once for that reason.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Exactly. That is what a person wants when they are angry. Right. Yeah. The compassion is what they want. Yeah. Thank you. Any other thought? Okay. Yeah. So I think the bottom line remains the same. I think taking shelter of full healing helps. All right. Yeah, if there are no further questions, we are done. Oh, who's going to sing Narsim Marti?
प्रभु जी बद्री कौर का जी बोलना चाहते
Sorry?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have one doubt.
Yes, Mother.
Prabhuji, irritation and angry, both are same kya?
Mother, they may or may not be. I mean, see, anger is, I think, hope you understand, right? कि मतलब हम लोग irritation is more in our mind, if I understand your point correctly, right? कि हम mentally चल रहा है हमारे. That is, just think of it as a pre situation of anger, right? क्योंकि हमने वही contemplation, संगात, संजायते कामा, वो सब लेवल पे बैठे हुए हैं और हम सोच रहे हैं कि ये ऐसे क्यों नहीं कर रहा और ये हमेशा ऐसे क्यों करता है, and things like that, right? Whatever that situation is, whoever that person is or the object is, right? और वो irritation ultimately anger बन के ही निकलेगा बाद में. So that is the whole thing कि मतलब it's a precondition. If you are able to kill it even before irritation, then it's gone. Otherwise it will become anger at one point, because you'll getting irritated at some point, you'll start shouting and things like that, right? That does it make sense? कि मेरा इरिटेशन आप अपने अंदर फील कर रहे हो, राइट? दैट इज द संगात संजायते कामा, कि मतलब वो उसके साथ अपनी डिजायर के साथ आप संग कर रहे हो और सोच रहे हो ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, ये पर्सन ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर रहा है, ये सिचुएशन ऐसी क्यों नहीं हो रही है, या व्हाटएवर, ये ऑब्जेक्ट मुझे क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है, व्हाटएवर इट इज, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाट इट इज. ओके. या निधि माता जी, यू हैड सम पॉइंट, क्या यू आर सेइंग?
नहीं प्रभु जी, वो मत में तो जी का छूट रहा था तो वो इसलिए बोले थे.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Narsimarthi, who will sing Narsimarthi? Anybody? Okay. Any volunteers?
Hare Krishna, can I sing the Narsimharthi?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Lad Daine. Prahlad Lad Daine. हिरण्यकशिपुरवक्षः कान खालगे कान खालगे एतो नरसिम्हा परतो नरसिम्हा एतो
नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि
ततो
नरसिंहा
बहिर्नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा
नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा
नरसिंहमदेव शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदेव शरणं प्रपद्ये तव कर कमल वरे नखामद्भुत शृङ्गाम् दालिता हिरण्यकशिपोर्तनुभृङ्गाम् तव कर कमल ललिता हिरण्यकशिपोर्तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय
नरसिंहदेव
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 नरसिंहदेव जयो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो जयो प्रभुपाद 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 जयो जयो प्रभुपाद जयो जयो प्रभुपाद 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 जयो जयो प्रभुपाद जयो जयो गुरुदेव 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 जयो जयो गुरुदेव जय जय
गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नेताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नेताय गौरा हरि बोल
निताय
नेताय
गौरा
गौरा
हरि
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नेताय गौरा हरि बोल जय श्री भक्ति विघ्न विनाश श्री नरसिंह भगवान जय भक्त शिरोमणि श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की
जय
जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ महाराज बलदेव महाराज सुभद्रा मैया की
जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, महाराज की जय। I got Premanande. Hari Hari
Hari.
Bol.
Thank you everyone for following me for 2 some hours. Yeah, thank you.
वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां नमो नमो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.